Alrighty then. Let me see what we got here. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Alright, let me put this here. Oops. All right. What is happening, folks? Don't mind me. For some reason, my microphone wouldn't work. It's conflicting with the two softwares. I'm like, what is going on here? I get in there early and I'm like, yes. And then it goes stupid. So, yeah, not good. Let me make sure we got audio here. Make sure. My microphone wouldn't work. So, okay. Here we go. Seems to be working here. Alrighty. Let me see what I've got here. Okay. Wow. This thing's at 50? Really? Okay. Let's go here. And we'll bring up this here. Oh yeah, that's a little better. Yeah, it works. So what's going on, everyone? All the usual suspects seem to be in there this evening, which is awesome. Good to have everybody here. Let's see. Who's in there? Robert Morgan's in there. Miss Mimi Reacts is in there. Daniel Lee is in there. Dale Rogers is in there. And it's 2017. You guys are all saying hi, Chris, and good evening. Hope you are okay and had a good week. Hi, everyone else. I'm doing well, Daniel. Thank you very much. Dale Rogers, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Ange, I'm doing fine. Thank you. You said, I'm back, LOL. That's awesome. Good to have you in here. Gary Morgan says, welcome from UK. What's going on, Gary? Good to have you in there, man. Mike Knapp, Mr. Mike Knapp is in the house. What's going on, Mike? Good to see you in there, brother. Recluse Lord 666, hey, I'm in early. Word up, Chris. Well, I'm in there a little late, so I guess we kind of counteracted each other. But yeah, yeah, I know what you mean though. Like I said, for some reason, you put the software on here, then you put the going live, and usually it's not an issue. This time it was like, nah, I'm not working. You gotta love computers. You know how it goes. You know, everything you can have the top, computer. It could be cutting edge. Whatever, and somehow it still just basically give you the middle finger, right? It's like, wow, that's not very nice of you. Mr. Pete Ferrero's in there. What's going on, Pete? 37 degrees, clouds, and getting colder. Yeah, and getting colder. You said right now. I think we were 52. Yeah, it's weird. Again, Mother Nature's going spastic. It was like 70 the other day. And the dew point here is showing 34 degrees. So it's going to be down to about 34. I live out in more of a country setting, so it's going to be colder than that, which is fine. Listen, I'm working tomorrow anyway. If it was an 80-degree day, I'd be a little angry because I'd be like, oh, I'm working. But you know how that goes, right? It is what it is. Alan Keene say, hey, Chris. You legend, nice to see you. I don't know about the legend pop, but I appreciate that, Alan. Good to have you in there. Let's see. Whoop, this thing just, I hate it when it does this. John McDonald, what's going on? I think it says New Zealand there. Hi, all. Let me get this thing a little bit bigger here. It never, because this monitor's a little farther away, and I'm like, the letters can be so small, so that's why I try to make the screen much larger. Well, hold on. It's a wee bit better. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's better right there. Hatchet Man, he said, what's up, everyone? It's been a while since I've been in the chat. I'm so busy these days. Believe me, I hear you. I really do. You know how it goes, right? Hellfire Studios, what's going on? Good to have you in there. He said, Hangout time. Yeah, we got a few pages there, some things we've been checking out, and we got a short UFO video, at least that's the way it appears. And yeah, some pretty cool stuff. A lot of space stuff, anything you guys want to talk about as well, you know how that goes. Let's see. Mimi says, spring finally has arrived. I'll tell you what, spring and winter are still duking it out over here. I mean, it's like I said the other day, 70 degrees, nice warm breeze, and then we had an ice storm here, hail about 2 inches big, put a couple dents in the roof of the car. Yeah, not too good, but it's barely noticeable. I mean, but you just got to look at a certain angle where you see the sunlight, you know. But yeah, they're still having a brawl right there between spring and winter. It's hoping spring will win, but I think they said it was like, what is it? Middle of next week is gonna be like 75 here. I'm like, Mother Nature, what are you doing? You know. So spring has not sprung yet here, Mimi. So I don't know how it is over there, but you know how that goes. Robert Morgan says, I was first 2 weeks in a row, Chris. I'm making up for my CV-19 absence. It's good to have you in here, regardless, man, and I'm glad everything's cool, and, you know, got over everything, which is awesome. Robert, it's good to have you in here. Goat Heart says, hello there, everybody, and thank you, Chris, for some great uploads this week. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing some that are quicker because here's the thing. My job has changed where we have more hours now, right? So I went, oh, okay. And then there was talks about having, you know, me go to another store and straighten out some of the areas in there and stuff like that, but not sure that's going to happen at all. But it's been really busy. I'm like, man, when am I going to find the time to do these? So if you notice, I've been throwing in a lot more Gigapans because I like Gigapans. I know you guys do too. You're like, oh, Gigapan time. So I like doing those because it gives you this option to kind of look over it. And plus, you get the link anyway. So then you get to peruse over those things once you get the link. So I like looking at a lot of these Gigapans because you don't know what you're going to find in them. And you know as well as I do just by looking at, well, you look at it on your own, but when I look at these things, I'm seeing things, like I said, protruding out of rocks, which do not look natural. We have things, well, rocks that clearly don't look like rocks. You can tell it's just like a texture thrown over them, and they're like smooth over, and it's just weird. I mean, everybody here has seen a rock and a boulder and a hill at one point. I mean, yeah, unless you live underground. Well, you still see a boulder, right? But you get what I'm saying. Unless you live in a closet and never been outside, yeah. But we all have seen these things, and when you look at the texture of these things, you can just see it says false. So just a red flag goes off in your head, right? Now, like I say in the videos, are there rocks in these photos? Absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt. But you can see, you don't have to be an Einstein to see this stuff. You just go, how does that look like a rock or normal to anybody? I mean, you know, it's just crazy stuff. Now, a lot of it has rocks laying around, and you can pretty much see those. And then some of them, yeah, not so much. Tam T Girl, what's going on? Good to see you in there. I said, greetings from California. What's going on over there in Cali? Is it not bad weather there, or how's it going over there? Gary Morgan's in there. He says, good to be here. Well, I'm glad you're here, Gary. It's good to have you here. Simo. Hi, Chris. Greetings from Finland. What's going on? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it Simo. But good to have you in there, man. Amy says, my grandfather has corona, but she's... Grandmother, I'm sorry. Has corona, but she's vaccinated. Thank God. Yeah. So it probably won't be as serious. So you know, hopefully everything will be fine with her. You know, because obviously you don't want to see anything happen. So yeah, she'll probably just pull through it with no problem. And lately, you know, if you've been reading these things, I'll just talk about this briefly because I hate talking about it. And here's the weird thing: since the war and all this BS going on and all this crap going on, you notice how like suddenly COVID took a little vacation. Think about that a minute. But they're even saying it's becoming, even if you get it, the strain is so little it's not even funny. You might get some sniffles, maybe if you're lucky, a slight fever or cough, and it's pretty much over. So thank God for that, right? Let's see. Enrico, or Erico, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. He said, is that 7-Eleven? No, that's good old Mickey D's. Mickey D's. Golden Arches. Well, you can see them right there. Let's see. Daniel Lee said it's been nice in UK the last few days. See, it's nice to have just nice days. It's nice to be able to get out. Like I did a couple extra things on my front deck of the house where when you come in through the front door, but we got like a dining room set out there, and you can just sit out there and eat and everything else. And I've got like corrugated plastic where it's like you can get some that's clear and some that's tinted. So I got half of the deck actually like tinted off. So it rains. We have bad storms, the rain literally goes sideways, and you can literally still sit out there and eat. So Bluetooth speaker out there, get the music pumping out there, and ceiling fan outside, so just kick back and eat, and enjoy the weather no matter what, right? Unless, of course, it's bitterly cold out and you really don't want to do that. But, yeah, so it's kind of nice, cleaned everything off, did more revamping, put some LED lights out there, and those little micro ones that are in a strip type thing, so you can change different colors and everything else, and things like that. So it's like I'm looking forward to the nicer weather. Let me outside. I want to be outside. Just like you all, I mean, you get to the point where you're like, cabin fever, got to get out. It's as simple as that. Mars Leaks, what's going on? He said, sorry, late. Was listening to Jumanji Brown, just been able to explain what a woman is. Oh, not being able to, oh, Jesus. That's pretty funny. Man, if you don't know that by now, you might want to see a shrink for that. JD says, hello. What's going on, JD? And why are we buffering all of a sudden? Why are we buffering? Why are we buffering here? What is the deal here? Did you guys just get that? Let me jump down to the bottom here. Mr. Jean Ward's in the house. What's going on, Mr. Jean Ward? You know what? I keep making a mistake. Now, I'm not saying it's Will's fault, because he's, like I said, he bounces, man. He's everywhere. IT guy, works on computers and networking and other stuff for these other companies. He literally has laptops, all kinds of laptops he's got to fix for people. All these, anyway, long story short, I should have had you on this evening. And I think we'll do that because now Will wants to go out. In fact, I talked to him this evening, but he was on the way home again. So he could be called out at all different times of the day, and it just gets crazy for him. So what I'm going to do is, and it was kind of my fault because I was going to talk to him in the middle of the week, and because of work, I wasn't able to do that. So that was my bad on that. But what we'll do is we'll have you on next week if you're available, and you can bring some of your awesome work on here, and we can check it out and basically dissect it with you as well. So show us some awesome finds that you have. MG Toe, what's going on? You're young enough to work more hours, make money. Pretty much, right? I don't know about young enough, but because we are creeping up there, but still rock and roll. You know what I mean? Still do it. Get it done. Goat Hot says, yes, gigapans are awesome. Yeah, because you just don't know what you're going to find in these things, right? Some of them are just, what's the word I want to use? Overly censored. So what you see is just a bunch of rocks, and what's funny about it is you can see like this super smooth rock. I mean, it's so smooth it's not even funny, like it's been in a stream. And then you see this extremely jagged rock. You're like, wouldn't that be like rocks be very similar in a certain situation or area, like let's say completely arid, you know, nothing going on in that area, and then you got an old riverbed where perhaps these stones have been underwater or in a stream for like X amount of years. So you'd see roundness and very jagged, rugged rocks, right? But yet you see this combination constantly. Funny enough, the combination of these rocks have this weird, you know, texture on them. Funny enough. Imagine that. Mimi Reacts says, the change to daylight saving time confuses the hell out of me this year. Well, here's the thing. They're doing away with that, which I'm in favor for. I'm really sick and tired of it. Doing this twice a year, it's not like it's a big problem, right? But the idea is it's like this constant day like this, shorter daylight, you know, well, shorter daylight. Because people go, when you say, well, it's a shorter day, they go, no, it's not, man. It's still 24 hours. I get it. I'm saying daylight. So you got to be more, politically correct. So the daylight, although gets shorter, they're trying to keep it so that the end of the day stays pretty decently lit, you know what I mean? Although it's still going to get shorter one way or the other, it's still, your duration will go back up once, it gets, obviously towards the summer. Then after summer, it's like, you lose like a minute and a half every day. Mars League said the buttes are constructed. Oh, yeah. Let me see. Robert Morgan, thank you very much for your support, brother. I do appreciate you, man. Yeah, he said, I think that this is more than ad revenue. Yeah, YouTube Prime. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know a lot of people say, well, if you get, what is it? I think it is the YouTube Prime. They say, well, you won't see any kind of ads or anything like that. I went, yeah, but how does that actually help out the channel that you like? Because I'm sure many of you have more than one channel you watch, right? I mean, it's just common sense. Because I know I do. And I think that it's great that they do that, but then doesn't that hurt the other channels? The channels that you watch? Not sure exactly how that works, but I think that's how that works. Yeah, not good. Paul Roche says, hi, Chris. Great weather here, brother. Yeah, it's, like I said, it's kind of up and down. It's like this roller coaster ride. Like I said, we got like 49 degrees right now. And now it's saying the dew point's going to be 36. It's always colder here regardless. Like, I'll get up in the morning, and I get that little Amazon dot. Say, she'll come on there when the alarm goes off, and I have her tell me the weather after. And it's funny because it'll say it's, let's say a number. It's 35 degrees. It'd be like 31 here. And it's like, because we're like out in the country, a little bit more further out than, I guess, the weather sensor that they have. I don't know. But I got my own weather station here. It tells me everything I need to know. But it's always funny. I said, if it says it's going to be 35 tonight, expect about 30, 31. It's always colder. Tempe Girl says, I live in the mountains, so it's still quite cool for California. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, sometimes it can be warmer in the mountains too, right? Compared to the valleys. But most of the time, it's always colder at the higher elevations, which can be good and can be bad. Like, I know a friend of mine, he says, listen, I love snow. So if it's 40 degrees or 38 degrees where you're at, it might be 30 here on top of this mountain. So he loves the snow. We're getting rain or sleet, and he's getting snow. So it's like, you could literally go up this hill, and as you're doing these turns up this hill, all of a sudden it's like you can actually see a line, like snow just dropped right there. I'm like, good God, this is weird, but it's cool at the same time, right? John Ward says most restrictions here in South Africa have now been lifted. Thank goodness. Yeah, thank God for that. My wife was actually freaked out the other day, during the beginning of the week, I should say, where she said, I literally went into McDonald's. Like into the lobby. I'm going, so that's the highlight of your life? And she said, you don't get it. It feels like a normalcy that I can go back into a restaurant instead of hitting the drive-thru all the time. I said, makes perfect sense, right? So I said, I agree. It just feels good to be able to go in and out of these places and not have to be worried about every darn thing, That's what I think freaks people out. And I think the cool thing about it is people are getting out more. And I'm sure you guys are as well, right? Because this cabin fever stuff and this COVID bull crap and, yeah, up to here with it. Up to here. Oh, let's see. Mr. Kyle Harvey, what's going on? Good to see you there, brother. What is going on? Actually, I had to go back because this thing jumped down. I went back and I said, oh, there's Kyle. Because somebody said, hey, what's up? And I didn't even see him. I said, this thing must have jumped on me. P. Ferrari said, China strike stupid with approach to COVID. Shutdowns of millions. And yeah, I mean, I understand where they're coming from, right? So some countries, I guess, they're still getting this other weird little strain or whatever, and it's just, yeah, they're just like, just shut it down, and of course it affects, like you said, millions. And, it puts a strain on businesses. This is the reason why we had a whole bunch of them go under over here. It could be regular mom and pop stores, and of course they go down. And I feel bad for these people. This is their bread and butter. And then it just, just the rug ripped out from under them. Just boom, see ya. So, you know, it doesn't help anybody, right? Exactly, Hatchet Man. The newest video you said the newest video you put with all the rocks that looked like they were shaped and chiseled. If looked closely, it also looks freshly broken, like the rover pulverized it. Yeah, exactly. It literally was running over these rocks. It's literally, I think it was going up to them real closely, and then if it wanted to go over and see that group of rocks, it would go like this and literally run over them. I mean, I'm going, why would you do that? But think about it. You can bet that they're taking the cameras and getting up close, detailed photos, because even that photo looked, you know, well, yeah, it looked pretty good, right? It was pretty good clarity. When you look at it, you're saying, okay, this is pretty sweet. So you can imagine the photo they're getting, meaning untouched, because a lot of that's been messed with too. And I'm going to try to bring out that little animal I was telling you guys, because I did it in a video a while back, and I actually brought that out. But there's a surprise to that, and I'm not going to tell you right away, but it may not be an animal. Dun, dun, dun. So it's pretty cool when you see it. I didn't notice this until after. I looked at it again and took another approach at it, and I'm going, wow, that's pretty interesting. So, yeah, I'll probably mention that like a little part of maybe the next video, and then we'll just roll on with another video. You know, guys, give me some ideas, too, about what you want to do with the channel. What do you want to go with it? Do you want to try to expand out to different things? Do you want to, what would you like to see on the channel? You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm kind of limited because, again, I've got, more hours and stuff coming in. So, but that doesn't mean I won't try to, make you guys happy and try to do some things. We can venture into something different or whatever you want to do. Just let me know. I'm the same, just got a different name. Hey, dude, what's going on? Good to have you in there. I like that. Anon awoke. I'll just kind of shorten a little bit. But you said I joined some things to buffer. Yeah, I know. Don't you hate that? It's just that one guy that gets in there. It's like, boom, shut the whole stream down. You're like, dude. All right, throw him out. I said, no. Good to have you in there, man. JD says, Chris, chat eating food. So there you go. No, I sure didn't. You said, did you get a chance to check out Michael Sala's latest? I sure didn't. I need to, though. There's a lot of times, I'll write the stuff down and then I'll put it right here, and I'm doing things and never get to it. Let's put it this way. I just checked my email for I think it was like a good week and a half I checked it. So I'm like, oh my God, you get in there, there's like tons of email. And like I said, I don't mean to do that to anybody. I'm just like trying to catch up. And I also, for everybody who's on the Discord channel, I just added another feature like Ricardo had suggested about putting the finished photos there. So anytime we finish a photo, like I take it out of Photoshop, fully enhanced, we're going to put it up there in Discord so you can actually have a closer look at it and dissect it yourself. So we're going to do that. In fact, I just added it today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, I'll try to go back to what did I say it was about. There's probably about a good 3 or 4 videos that I want to put in there. Now, if you guys want the original photo itself or the link, just let me know. So I'll do either just put the one that's enhanced and that's it. And then you guys can just, go over it. Or I can put the original link or the picture and then, of course, the enhanced. It's up to you folks, right? Just let me know. Nick Savage, what's going on? He said, try 2 times, no reply. Don't know if it is on my end. This is abbreviated on AOL, correct? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because like I said, Nick, like I said, I don't mean to like disrespect you guys or not get to you guys because, like I said, it's been the last week, well, almost near the end of the week of last week. It's like I haven't gotten into anything, to be truthful with you. I try to go in there and I'll look at it real quick, and then sometimes some of you will ask a question. I'm like, I don't really have the time. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to make a day we can do this, and I think I could probably do this on a Wednesday where it's not very busy at the job. Although, like I said, my hours are increased and everything else, so it's kind of a pain in the rear end if you get what I mean. Because I enjoy doing these. This is my favorite pastime. and of course doing them. So I want to continue to do so. So I'll check it out. You said try 2 times. So if it was within the last week, week and a half, my apologies. Like I said, I'm going to try to get to it. John Wall says, we here in South Africa experienced some really bad buffering with YouTube. Looks like it's been sorted now. Well, it's good. That's the first I noticed this, because I was looking at this and then all of a sudden it buffered. I was like, what the heck? So not sure what that's all about, but yeah. What's going on, Cameron? You said, how are you, Chris, on this Friday? I'm doing well, Cameron. How are you today? Hope the weather's better where you're at compared to where I'm at. But I can't really complain. It's not too bad now. Like I said, we were just in the house. And this is actually it was the other day, and you know, we had the storms. You could see these bad storms. They said tornado warnings and everything else for us, and you know, we have a plan to just bail if we have to. But it was just a little windy. I think it got to maybe 30 miles an hour. It wasn't really bad. And then it was like, maybe get a sprinkler too. I said, well, it looks like those supercells are just missing us. And all of a sudden we hear thunk, thunk, thunk on the roof. I'm going, what is that? And of course I had the front door open. It was a nice day. Well, until it got nasty out. And we're watching this, all of a sudden, these freaking hail. I had one here in the palm of my hand. It was about 2 inches in diameter. So I was like, boom, 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 boom. I said, oh my God, here we go. I'm going to stop breaking windows and everything. But a couple little minor little dings in the roof of one car, and that's pretty much it. Thank God for that, because it could have like blown out the windows and everything else. Wasn't really fun. I know a couple of people said they were outside, their kids were outside playing, so they ran over to get them. And of course, they're doing everything they can to, keep the ice from hitting them. Of course, they got a couple of welts on their head because of these ton things are this big. Yeah, that would suck. Kyle, you said, I think it's funny. I was watching more UFO TV on YouTube, and they had video of the moon with the Earth behind it, and the Earth looked perfect, but the moon was all blurred and blurry. Yes, exactly. How does this even happen? And I see this all the time, Kyle. You're absolutely correct. When you see the moon, it looks like this milky, fudgy, it's blurry piece of trash. And, like I said, I had that, I told you about Blair Fan, how he just believes that, the government couldn't lie. It's like, but you make a great point. Earth looks pretty darn good in the background. Moon looks like complete trash. Completely sends it up. Nah, government would never do that. You lie. Okay, whatever. I just think it's hilarious. But whatever. I'm the same, just got a different name. Says, why won't they just go to the location of the face of Mars and the pyramids? You can bet, like I said, they either taken, I'm sure they have, actually, there is no either. They've taken, I can almost promise you, they had the MRO or one of the orbiters, sent it right over it, took the high-res camera, got down to, like I said, a 4-foot swath with unprecedented, is their words, unprecedented details they could take with that camera. Down to a 4 foot. Now this table is probably 5 foot in length, my desk. And like I said, got all the gear on it. But you can see down to that small. I have never, ever saw a photo that was that close down to the ground. And it can take video as well as, just regular pictures, right? So it's like, and like I said, the camera is pretty darn large. If an average sized guy or woman, doesn't really matter, got in a fetal position, you can fit in the camera. That's how big this thing is. So it's not some little piece of trash on this orbiter. It's really good size and has great zoom. Obviously, if you can go down to like 4 foot on the ground with unprecedented details, and that was the MRO. Look up when the MRO was put up there. So they put like some real phenomenal cameras on these things, whether it be the rover, the helicopter, it don't matter. It really doesn't matter at all. I keep wanting to mess your name. I call it Elusta. Elusta. He said, hi, good night for all. Good night for all. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Let's see. Why was that one? Oh, that's weird. Renee Cruz, what's going on? Good to see you in there. It says this message is held for review. She's basically got emojis and saying Chris. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and show that. I'm not sure why it's doing that, but it is YouTube. Let's see. Ancient Alternative View, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Said the moon cities are so clear with enhancement, it's hard to refute the evidence. Yeah, to be honest. Yeah, exactly. It's, again, it's one thing if you see one video and you go, okay, I'm seeing the shape that this person's showing, but I'm so on the fence, okay? But then you see another photo, then there's another photo, then there's another photo. Even if you were to say, okay, 90% of that photo that's enhanced or just regular photo is trash, I don't accept it, I don't think there's anything there. It only takes but one or two small things on each photo. You don't have to have the whole photo speak to you, you know, so to speak. It's like literally, it just has to be something that just doesn't look natural, like a lunar surface, you know, butte, massive, or whatever they call them there. It doesn't matter. The things that you see there, some of that stuff just doesn't make any sense. And you know, you can tell the difference between, okay, this is natural and this is unnatural. So, you know, whether it be the moon or Mars, again, ask the two questions. One, is it natural or non-natural? If it's not natural, then it's obviously intelligently made. It has to be something that is not naturally put there. So, or a natural process, or whatever it may be, right? So then you have to come to other questions like, okay, what is that? How long has it been there? Who put it there? And the list goes on. You know, if it was there like 100 years, was there thousands of years, millions of years, whatever. So, yeah, I mean, it's like I said, you don't have to see or notice everything in the photo and say, oh, I believe it all. No, because I don't. So I don't expect you folks to. But all you got to do is see a few things that just really stick out. Now, some things really stick out, and I think it's just really awesome, especially if you see what looks like small cities. Well, when you say small, it's because you're looking, you know, down from the orbiter and looking down. So they might be quite large. The Awoken One, what's happening? He said, Chris, I've been dropping some amazing videos lately. Then again, Chris, videos are amazing, period. And thank you for spotting the things most of us mortals would never see. Respect. Like I said, I don't do anything. I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate the comment. But I'm not doing anything different you guys can't do. I'm not special. I'm really not. I'm just another guy with eyeballs. I mean, you know, and I said this a million times because it's like everybody now is starting to, like I said, get Photoshop, or they're just looking at their phone and they're, you know, opening this up and zooming in and they're seeing some cool stuff. So, you know, kudos to everybody that's really getting into this stuff and really analyzing these photos, because to me that's important. It really is. Especially if you're an inquiring mind and you want to know, right? Let me see. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Somebody else was just saying the same thing. Jean, you said, how about doing a gigapan with every hangout? We can all comment as well. Well, every now and then I will do that, but yeah, we can do that more often. You know, we can definitely do that. Mars Leaks, you said, seeing 80% of all your videos. Chris, let's do your enhancement on 3125. Now that's, you talking about, it's got to be, what is it, Perseverance? They're not up that high yet. We're talking about Curiosity, right? On the same, just got a different name. It says, I only found your channel last year. Was wondering if you ever covered the face on Mars and pyramids. Many thanks. Yeah, I have actually. You can actually look that up. If you go on to my homepage and put it in a little search box and put Cydonia region, I believe I got it that in the title, and I go into that and I look at the face, and it's like I was able to actually almost get rid of the face, and it looks like a bunch of little structures. If you look really carefully, let your eyes settle into the photo, you can literally see what looks like hundreds of structures there. So I was wondering, I'm saying, was this put there to be like the elephant in the room type thing and don't pay no mind to the other stuff, which wouldn't really make any sense, because you're going, giant face, it doesn't get more intelligently made than that. Now, I don't know about you folks, but I believe the orbiter photos before I believe that piece of trash CGI they put out later. Remember they said it's not real. What the orbiter scene was not that. It's like it was just a trick of light. Here's the real photo. And when you see it, it's completely mushed out, CGI'd to the max. It's absolutely crazy. I remember seeing the face of Cydonia. Hell, this has got to go back to the late 70s. It's got to go. How many of you have seen that before? I think they had it in a 2020 magazine, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember if it was that. But when I saw it, I was just like, wow, that is really, really cool. Now, like I said, when you see the original photo and then you see the new one, it's completely CGI'd and trashed. I went, that doesn't look anything like it. Don't tell, I mean, and they said, well, it's smoother because obviously it's more high tech, meaning better cameras. I don't care. You know, the Orbiter photo took much, much better. The Viking one, it just, even if the cameras were subpar compared to what they are today, but you know as well as I do, they took really, really good photos. And but they want you to believe it's like just two totally different things. And the updated photo, trash. I don't believe that for a minute. Alan Keene says, yeah, live Giga Hunt. Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Unfortunately, I don't even have one tonight. I got all kinds of tabs open, right? And now you guys have it. But we will definitely be doing those. Because I used to do it, like, every now and then, well, I wouldn't say used to. I make it sound like it was 20 years ago. We would do it periodically every now and then and be like, hey, Gigapan. So, yeah. Ancient Alternative View says the moon cities are so clear enhancement, it's hard to read. Exactly. And I had to go backwards because this thing, I had, I don't know why this one here is held for review. We'll click that. Okay. And I was looking, and I was actually reading the, I went back and read the Awoken One's comment. MG Toe says, Chris, work as much as you can now, make the money for later use. Well, that's true. Yep. Make that cash. Ancient Alternative View says they resemble ancient cities here, although enormous in comparison to here. Yeah. So, well, it's like I said, for some reason, if you look at, I'm assuming you're talking to the moon, I'm about the moon rather. When I look at that stuff, some of the stuff looks really big, and some of it may be because it's just what looks like machines or crafts or whatever they may be, where you see the Apollo astronauts on the ground, and of course, once you enhance this butte or whatever it may be, suddenly all of this stuff comes out, like the last moon video I did, right? And when I saw that, I said, I know these are not buttes or messes, what they call them. But what when I look at that stuff, I literally start to burn, and all of a sudden this crap disappears, and you see these actual square shapes and just weird stuff on there. And you go, how is this possible? I should not be able to burn into this photo. In other words, if I took a photo of myself and put it into Photoshop, I'd literally burn the photo. Why? Because it's an actual photo. So you would just make your areas even darker, and that's going to be the end of it. But when you literally go like this through like an overlay, and all of a sudden something else pops out, we're talking about totally two different animals here. Totally two different animals. Jim Knight, you said, I would like to see the links to the original pictures as well as your interpretations. Okay, we can do that. Like I said, I can either give the original link, so the original photo, to that original photo rather, and then I'll just put, like you said, we'll just do the enhancement, we'll throw that in there as well. But like I said, I did put that sub-channel on there on my Discord, so you guys can check that out as well. I haven't put any photos in it yet. I'm gonna do that probably, I'm gonna try to do it over the weekend if I can, right? So this way we can check it out. In fact, I may try to do it tomorrow. Because, well, depending on how much work we got to do in the morning. But, because I get there for like 5 o'clock now. I'm up like a little after 4 and get in there for 5. So, a long day, folks. A long day. And like I said, I'm still up. It's going to be 5 o'clock. It's 12 hours right off the bat. That's between working and doing all kinds of other stuff. Okay, Nick, I got you. You said, okay, we'll be in the head. Okay, we can do that. Oops. They just jumped on me again. I hate it when it does that. I'm going to go back now. Let me see. I don't know how far I'm going to go back on this thing now. The force is strong here. Thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. You said NASA is never a straight answer. Liars. Again, I blow people's mind because like I'll wear NASA shirts. I go, dude, They're like, I thought you hated NASA. I never said I hated NASA. I hate them for not informing the public. But they don't pull the strings here, folks. The DOD does. You know, it's the military controlling them, not themselves. You can bet this is the reason why we see like little tidbits coming out in these photos. Some of the people are going, oh my God, I can't keep this from the public, but I can't do it because I'll lose my job and maybe my life. So what they're doing is they're trying to be like really discreet about it and just kind of like squeak little things out here and there. I don't know. But, well, actually you can tell the difference between the AI and actually something's been done by the human, because basically AI will do the whole darn photo, and then you see certain areas that are done differently. Just look at any of these gigapans and you'll see what I'm talking about. Again, well, you go by the force is strong here. Thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. Steve Garnham's in there. What's going on, Steve? Steve, he said, hi, Chris and everyone. More Antarctica would be great too. Yeah, I haven't been able to get to that darn thing either. I need to get, I'm glad you reminded me of that. Kenneth, what's happening? He said, hi from Denmark, Chris. What is your favorite sci-fi movie? Mine is from 1968 Space Odyssey 2001. Oh, I don't know. There's so many of them. Like I like Predator, things like that, or even the older movies like Star Trek. You know, anything space is actually good, but I like Space Odyssey as well. I mean, we could talk about TV series, we can talk about movies, we can talk about just about anything. I love anything that's like that, unless of course it's super corny and it's supposed to be a joke. It's supposed to be like a comedy kind of thing. Nah, I'm not into that. But anything like that, I'm good with. I love it. Kyle, thank you again for your support, man. I do appreciate you. You said Jim Knight, I believe, is a new subscriber, so let's give him a big shout out from Miami. He sounds like a pretty good dude. Yep, Jim Knight. Yeah, he does actually sound new. So welcome aboard. Glad to have you here. And if this phone keeps going off my ear, I'm going to throw it against the wall. Oh, hold on. I turned it down a little bit. It's good to have it I can just barely hear it. I don't know if you folks can hear it, but you hear it go, doo-doo-doo-doo. Just makes like a little slight sound going. And that's where you hear me just like get distracted. I like to have it on in case there's some kind of emergency or something like that, so I like to have it on. But that's why you see me like go like this, like, anyway, so, but yeah, again, Kyle, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you. And like I said, Jim Knight, welcome aboard. If you're new here or new to at least the Hangouts, it's good to have you in here. John Ward, you said even if only one anomaly points to evidence of an ancient civilization, that once thrived on Mars, it's yeah, it would be rewrite history. Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. There was, I don't know if you guys seen this. What was this on? I don't know if it was space.com or NASA, but it was funny. They said, can you help us try to find signs of life? And I thought this was comical because I'm going, this is a gag, right? This is a gaffe. Because I'm looking at it and saying, oh, I can show you all kinds of proof of life. But they're talking about like this chemistry makeup and everything. And I'm going, seriously? Wow. So if I see the page again, I might just get on there and say, yeah, I can show you plenty of proof of that. And we don't have to look for microbial life either, by the way. It's, of course, they'll just say, oh, it's just pareidolia playing games with them. You know how that goes. Or swamp gas or any of that sort. Pete Ferrari said, if I follow correctly, the Chinese can interfere with our satellites from Antarctica. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at it and what they would be doing to interfere with it. It could be anything from an EMP directed from a satellite dish to like one of those, what do they call them? It's like a heat ray type thing where it's, radiation transmitter. It's basically radioactive, basically microwaves. So it depends on how they're doing it, but I'm sure we could actually do the same if we really wanted to. But yeah, it's crazy. It's getting to the point where the technology, everybody's trying to outdo the other one and become world dominant, which is scary in itself because you know, where does it end? It's one thing to have progress when you say, I'm going to build a car that is so efficient that you can get 100 miles to the gallon. I'm talking about a normal car. I'm not talking about some little pod that you sit in. You know, so on and so forth. You go, oh, that's cool. That's, you know, it's the better, you know, it's the better humanity getting around. We're using less fossil fuels, blah, 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 blah. So you go, yeah, great, I'm all for it. But when you start talking about weaponry and controlling each other's stuff, and yeah, that's when you go, okay, when is that gonna end? Where does it stop? Until finally you say, hey, you took my patent, we're gonna blow your country up. It's, oh my God, here we go. So instead of working together in unity, no. Now me, top dog, whatever. JD says, Chris is a legend of the making for Mars. Yeah, well, we've seen plenty of stuff on there that, you know, whether it be Mars or, I was going to say Earth. Sometimes there's no really smart life on here either. But if you've seen some of the public. But between the moon and Mars, wow. I mean, I have no doubt in my mind. I don't know about anybody here, and I'm sure you're on the same boat and the same page as I am, where you could literally pass away tomorrow and you know we're part of something much larger. There's just no turning me around. I don't care if somebody said, hey, just come down to NASA with us. You know, come down here. We want to show you the real photos. And they show me these photos. I go, okay, so seriously, these are the trash ones. Where's the real ones? Because that's exactly what I would tell them. Well, what do you mean? Well, first of all, I have proof that you guys were manipulating and censoring these photos. So why you show me this trash? Show me the real deal. And if they say, well, show us proof that we've actually censored these. Okay. Which one do you want? Because I gotta bring out a folder about this thick, plop it on the desk. Which one do you want? You know, that's basically what it comes down to. So, Templar, what's going on? Templar, rather. Chris, how about a compilation of the absolute best photos you've examined? That would take a bit of time, but I could do that because I'd just throw it all in one folder and just kind of make like I actually did that. I had a montage I had done, and it's on my home channel. You'll see it, where I've done one. It's just kind of like just background music and just different things from the moon as well as Mars, right? Pretty cool. So yeah, I could probably do that too. I'd have to put probably take a bit of time because I want to do something. You don't want to just do like 3 simple photos, right? You want to do like a whole bunch of stuff you can put together. Yeah, exactly, Mike. Send it to me. That's what Steve Garner was saying. You know, like I said, anybody's got any videos or anything like that they want to share, you're more than welcome to. And of course, if I put it on the channel, you know you get full credit. There's no doubt about it. And if you've got a channel, or like you're talking about, Mike, you have one on Instagram, I'll even share the link, because if you have more than one of these things, we can do that too. Be happy to put it on there, and of course, full credit goes to you. That's the way I roll here. I don't take any credit for anybody's work or sightings, whatever it may be, right? A lot of people spend some serious time looking through a telescope, hoping to find something that's worth something. Now, don't get me wrong, we may all look at it and go, okay, that looks like some kind of, you know, Chinese lantern. We won't know what it is because a lot of times you can't see it up close and you don't know. But a lot of times, a lot of these things are like the legit, absolute, what is that kind of photo or video, right? So I'm more than happy to share it. I'm going to jump all the way down to the bottom here, so if I missed anybody's comments or questions, just go ahead and ask it again. And I like trying to go to everybody's questions so I don't leave anybody out, but then I'm way behind as opposed to where you guys are at, right? Great for All says, can't watch, I'm at work. Shh, don't let the boss find out that you're behind. John Boy, there you go, justification, Ray. Yeah, I thought about that too, Jean. I'm glad you mentioned that. You said, I'm sure NASA is relying on amateur researchers to find anomalies for them. Yeah, but I thought the same thing, but here's my problem. if they've done that, then they clearly know because they're censoring these photos. So maybe they're, in an aspect, I don't know if you mean this, but maybe they're trying to say, how are these people seeing through what we're showing here? Is there any way we can block it out better? Is there any way? This is the reason why, like, remember when we had, this was before Perseverance. I think it was like a year before Perseverance was launched and sent to Mars, right? It was an overlay where it was an overlapping time from, well, I wouldn't say the end of Curiosity because it's not true, but it was like a year before Perseverance was coming out. It was like all of a sudden the Curiosity photos started to change where you could see the difference in texture, like an AI was like basically introduced. And a lot of you folks had asked me, Chris, you think with the new Perseverance we're going to have better photos and everything else? I said no. They just, and I showed. This is a while back. Yeah, this is a while back. I actually showed the old Curiosity photos and how they went stupid over the years. And then all of a sudden you can see this overlap. I put Curiosity, and I think it was Sol 173, I think it was, somewhere around there, to the newest one before Perseverance was going to Mars. And you could see the difference in, oh my God, totally different texture on these photos. You just knew they were doing this. You know as well as I do, these cameras are capable of so much more. And yet they look, if you look really close at some of these rocks, they look fuzzier on the edges, and you just know they're not rocks. Come on. This is absolutely pristine cameras, and yet the photos look like trash. Rocks look like fuzzy and all this other stuff. It just doesn't make any sense. None whatsoever. Third eye open. I don't know if I said hello to you, but hello, and you said agreed, Chris. It's, I don't know. It's like people, they must think people are extremely stupid, right? They can't see the difference in them. But I think a lot of people, we're like very small percentage of the population, because the population is what, 8 billion by now? If not more. But the thing is, it's like, you may be, what, 3%, if that, of the population that really jumped in. But a lot more people are jumping on board. Where around the world, it might make up more than that, right? So there's a lot of people going, yeah, I don't trust them. Rightfully so. You're right about that, Robert Cole. He said, arms race never stops. You know what? And that statement is so true because, like I said, when they started off, like, when you had the Soviet Union, and of course, the United States was the great space race, the arms race, all this other crap. You thought it's just about rocketry, which in a sense it was. They put Sputnik out there, and of course, now the United States has to one-up them. So, and for the longest time, I thought that's what that was about, right? But then when you find, and you get into these moon photos, you go, okay, so they're hiding this stuff in the photo. So it was a race to get to what's on the moon, not just to do simple orbiting, who's got the better rocket, so on and so forth. It's about, let's build a rocket and see if we can be the first guy to get to the moon and find this stuff. So now the phone's gonna ring. Awesome. So I don't know if that's still ring, but put the notifications down when the phone rang. So that's just what I'm saying. I mean, you knew that they were messing with these photos. It's just common sense, right? So the way I look at it, hold on. Did yours just buffer on your end? I don't seem to be doing it now. Maybe it's just something I saw. I don't know where I was at. But anyway, I'm just seeing the other comments too. But, like I said, this, not sure who that even is, that phone call. Got a phone here, got a phone there, monitors here. It's like, I'm going. But anyway, yeah, so let's move along. See, now I got sidetracked. Anyway, you said, Steve, yeah, it's a good point. You said, Jean, Jean Wood, yes, they should be giving you a salary for your work. And the same thing with, like, anybody who's doing this. But again, I look at these photos and I'm just astounded because, like I said, I thought back in the day when I looked at these, I was like, oh, wow. And like I said, we were talking about the space race. I don't believe it was just simply to get out in space. Now, keep in mind, remember before, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but back then, 50s, I think it was 40s and 50s, it wasn't just a space race. Either, I think it was the Soviet Union wanted to do this first or the United States, but they wanted to put a spy satellite up there that people could actually be in. And they talked about, and they showed in this illustration where it showed this big, big camera, kind of like what they've got on the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, right? And they had these people, showed them like a cutout, and it's basically an illustration, and it showed like people in it. Well, both countries wanted to do the same, to spy on each other. Okay, so it's a space race to get out in space, but was that all to it? No. I believe they saw something on the moon, and it was a race to get to it. That's just my opinion because of what I'm seeing in these photos. And like I said, back then you would have never thought that. You'd be like, it was simple. It was not a big deal. They were literally trying to see, who can get out there, who's got the best rockets, who can get out in space first, who can conquer what first. But was it that, just simply getting to the moon, or to get to the moon for what's on it? That's what I think was going on. The Force is Strong here says, just like the Black Knight alien technology. Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of which, I know there's an actual debut, a movie or a documentary that my buddy Billy has done, and I'm in the video as well. So that's going to be, I think it's in April? I think, and don't get me wrong, I'm not sure if that's 100% correct. But I was asked to actually go out there, and they're going to have a red carpet and all this other stuff out there. The thing is, I just like really getting cranked up in this job, and I'm saying, bro, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. So I don't know. But Billy Carson, like I said, he's getting this thing done, and it's already done, and it's going to be aired. And I think there's actually going to be a link for it too, that you might be able to just pay a small fee for it to see. So that would be pretty interesting to watch. I'm sure if I can't go, I'm gonna, because I got to tell him soon that there would be like a live feed and be able to watch it that way. So either way, it'll be interesting and it'll be a cool one. In fact, I talked to him, I think it was the other day. He said, "Yeah, I'm glad you were part of this." I said, "Yeah, me too," because when you talk about the black satellite, people are like, no, it's basically a thermal blanket. Yes, and some of the photos, yes, it's absolutely true. They're not lying. It's a thermal blanket, and basically the thermal blanket went on the trunnion pin. Now, these trunnion pins stuck outside the actual space shuttles. Well, I shouldn't say that, because the way they were designed was that you open up the actual bay doors to the shuttles, and they would have like these pockets, and these trunnion pins would actually, the cargo would slide into this thing. You'd have to see it to see what I'm talking about. But so basically, they went over this pin that would stick out like this far off the body of the craft, and it'd be like really thick. And somehow that thing had come off, and so that itself was a blanket. But what they not telling you is that they actually caught a spacecraft out there, not just a blanket. So, and there's much more to that. So, yeah, that's going to be coming out soon. In fact, like I said, I think it's in April. I think it's in April or June. No, anyway, I'm not 100% sure. He sent me a letter telling me what was going on. I don't remember what it was. I just kind of glazed over it real quick. But really, really good, man. I'm definitely want to check it out because there's other people on there as well. It's going to be sharing their information about it. You're getting all the way down the bottom here again. Mr. Bushcorey, what's going on? Let me see. Hold on. Mr. Whitebeard Sky Daddy's in there. Let me see how it's. Yeah, there he is. Mr. Bushcorey's in there. Yeah, Bushcorey, you're not the first one to say that. You said, "Why ain't YouTube telling me you're on?" Damn. Sorry I'm late all. Happy Friday. No, I mean, a lot of people have said that. They're going, I don't get it, man. 1 minute it's like, I'm getting the notifications. The next minute I'm not getting anything. So, yeah, I don't get it. It's just, gotta love it. And here's the thing, this is what drives me insane, is that it's like, it's literally messing with channels like mine. Like, you should be getting a lot more views, you should be getting a lot more everything, and you don't get it. And, you know, like I said, of course, I don't know how they say 35,000 people have watched your videos over the month, and these are people who are not subscribed. Really? So out of the 35,000, get this, out of the 35,000, none of them are intrigued by it. Now, some of them are going to say, I seen it was in my suggested side, and it's just not my bag. So that part I get. And then the people would just move along. They'll go, whatever, and it just doesn't interest them or whatever. And then you're telling me out of the 35,000, not one of them said, that's pretty intriguing. I think I'll just watch this channel. I'll sub to it. Come on. You know as well as I do. Look at the number of subscribers has been stagnant for a long, long time here. It doesn't make sense. We were gaining at least 100 to 200 subscribers back about a year and a half ago. It hasn't moved. You know what I mean? That's why I always ask for your help. You know, spread the word. You know, get it out, and like it's Facebook, some of these other pages that are on Facebook, it's got to do with Mars and whatever it may be, the moon or whatever. You know, spread the links, get these things out. Because that's the problem. It's like they want to stunt the channel's growth. And I know Jean will agree to this. You can almost bet he's got videos where you know people are passing the word about him and his channel, so you know it should be growing, and yet it's not. So, and if it is, it's so slow that it's not even funny, right? It just doesn't make sense. Okay, you guys are saying no buffering. So maybe it's just something when I went like that and I just caught it on my eye. Maybe it's, you know, like you get the glasses on, you think you see something there and it's not. So good. Because I'm not seeing anything on here now. I haven't since I've said that. Goat Squeezer, what's going on? He said, had my first UFO sighting at 3 a.m. in the morning to let my dog out as he had the craps. I looked up and there was this no sound glowing ball of bright white light moving from east to west. That's got to be strange. Because especially if there's no sound or anything, you're just going, what is that? It just kind of goes across the sky, right? That is pretty neat. Les, what's going on? Les Kapak says, buff free here. Robert Coley said it is definitely ridiculous for NASA to think we are all idiots. Well, I mean, they're just hoping that you're just a vegetable and you don't have any critical thinking. And that's what they don't want. They don't want critically thinking people, because then, oh my God, they're going to ask questions. What do we do now? They don't want that. You know, just be a good slave. You know, go to work, shut your pie hole, come home, eat your little dinner or whatever it is, watch your little sitcoms and your reality shows, and go to sleep and repeat the next day. They don't want you to go, hey, what is this that I'm seeing in this photo? Don't worry about it. You know, and that's the way it is. And people are not stupid. They're not. Cloud 33 Studios, what's going on? Good to see you in there. He said, I just took pics of the moon 3 days ago with an old P100 Nikon I got on eBay for 23 bucks with a 26 times optical zoom, which isn't much, and could easily see structures and 99% sure to train. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, well, just understand, I thought the same thing on one of the photos that I'd done, Cloud 33, where it would look like more of a storage container, like almost like the ones you see on these ships, right? They bring stuff from China or whatever, you know, exporting and stuff like that. And it looked like this huge container on the moon. I was totally dumbfounded, like, what is that? So you might have seen something similar to that, which is insane, right? That doesn't look natural. You shouldn't see that. Yeah, they claim it's Jean was just answering you, Bushcore. You said he thinks it's a 12 megapixel. That's what I heard as well. This is what I don't get. I've got a camera, and it's an older camera, and it's 12 megapixels. I probably got this thing, had to be all of 5-6 years ago. All of that. Yeah, all of that. And let me tell you something. That was back then, 12 megapixel. In fact, it might have been even bigger than that. It might have been a 14. And it was a Polaroid. So you and I both know that this thing's probably phenomenal. It's probably 50 megapixel or something like that. So we can get a really, really large photo of extremely high def. It's probably at least a 4K can take it in, maybe even 8K. depending on the actual rover itself, or meaning the cameras they put on it. But you could bet it's going to be far bigger than a 12 megapixel. Come on. Come on. Everybody here's got something that's much better than that. Let me see this here. Ooh, even this one's got AI dual camera. Ooh. But the thing is, again, they're going to put the best cameras they can find. Because if you were them, wouldn't you want the biggest megapixel camera you can put on board? Because you want to have this thing huge so that you can see the smallest details, especially if it's really high quality megapixel, right? Like 20 megs or 50 megapixel photo with extreme details. Oh my God. It'd be like the size of a wall. You'd be looking at that thing, and with insane details. Yeah, that's what you'd want to see. Especially if you take the photo and shrink it down, the details are going to become even better. Claire Mead, what's going on? You said, hi, Chris, and all late joining today. Well, glad to have you here, Claire. Glad you made it in. Exactly, Steve. Yeah, he said my cheap phone is a 12 megapixel. And I've got one of those too. I think it's either 12 or 14. I can't find the darn thing now. It's because to show you how much I use it. Because now we got to, we got our phones and stuff. And even then, come on. Let me see. Hold on, the thing just jumped on me here. Oh crap! Just go to the bottom here. Let me see where we're at. Jim Knight, you said I used to see UFOs when I lived in Missouri quite often, but nothing since I moved to Miami 5 years ago. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's in the most desolate areas, right, where there's not as much population, pretty much flat area. Well, sometimes you can have mountains and stuff and ridges and stuff like that. And you always see these things happen to go down below or behind the mountains or something. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's in more desert areas more than cities, although they do see them, right? Yeah, it's just crazy. But nobody can seem to get a really good photo during the day, which I find insane. Like, get a real crisp photo of a UFO. It's always, like I said, it's in a different wavelength. It's either infrared or, whatever it may be. Like I said, night vision, whatever it may be. They always take it as something different, or it's incredibly like a 1 megapixel blown up. It just looks, horrible. I don't know. Can't make it out sometimes. Yeah, I seen a UFO. Would you take that with a potato? Let me see. Les, you said the X-37B. I remember its name. Yeah, you're talking about the one that looked like the mini shuttles. Cloudy with a chance of UFOs. What's happening? Good to see you in there. He said they got the best equipment on the space fleet craft. We just never see what they really have. Well, yeah, like I said, you're not gonna. It's like me. If I was a multi-billionaire and I wanted to send something to the moon or Mars, I'm going to say, listen, money's of no object. Make me a camera that can blow the photo up once I get the picture, digital, and I need to make it the size of a 100-foot wall, and I want it extremely good detail. That's not a problem. We can take care of that for you. The camera doesn't really need that to be that big, unless you want like ultra zoom lens in it. It doesn't need to be that big. Now, for just people like ourselves in everyday lives, even a simple camera on a phone is more than adequate, and they take ungodly photos, right? But yet they just can't get a good one on any of these spacecraft or these landers or rovers. They just can't do it, at least according to their photos, right? Now, you and I both know it's a lot better than that. Renee V says hello again. John Ward and myself. What's going on, Renee V? Robert Cole, you were saying, keep us up to date on the video you speak of. Yeah, I think you're talking about the one I was just talking about, the Black Knight, because, like I said, I know it's coming out soon. Like I said, I don't know if it's in April or... I'll have to check. I'll check for you. And I'll either, announce it in the video or whatever. And this way it'll be a link if anybody wants to jump on board and check it out. Like I said, I'm sure there's a fee to it. There always is on these things. You know that. But I don't care to pay money on something that I love watching. So it's not going to bother me any. But yeah, pretty cool. There's Ricardo. What's going on, Ricardo? Good to see you. Hi, gang. This time zone thing throwing me out. UK clocks forward to Sunday. Yep. I forgot about this, that you guys weren't supposed to be doing it until this weekend, because that's why somebody had asked me before, hey, you think you can go a little hour earlier because of this time difference, right? So, yeah, like I said, they're going to abolish that here in the United States. They're going to get rid of that time zone crap, or the not so much the time zone, but the actual time, twice you got to mess with your clocks, right? Daylight savings, all this other BS. But good to have you in there, Ricardo. Goat Squeezer says, when you do the math on the moon and physics, it's clear that the technology put there's Russian scientists who wrote a very interesting book on it. Yeah, you're talking about how they believe it was artificial and stuff. There's two guys that had done it. And I don't recall the names, obviously, but I remember the article you're talking about, and they get really into detail about that, how it's more artificial than it is natural. And I don't recall the name of the book now. Oh, that's a fact, Nick. You're right about that. You said at least 10 to 135 space shuttle missions were classified. The payload bay didn't launch empty. You're right about that. Well, you know what they were really made for in the beginning, right? Is basically to build the ISS. So what they did is they brought the little, the different segments, and they put them in the actual, like you said, on the inside the bays there, and they had, like I said, trunnion pins, and then they would lock inside the actual bay area, or the storage, you call it what you will. But so they went up there to build that, but did they actually stop doing just that? Like I said, to me, it would have been no big deal to say, okay, we'll just put a little bit more fuel in these things, meaning add a tank or whatever else, and right to the moon. If you got a flat area, you can literally land on it. You got wheels to just drop down. You don't have to worry about the pull of the gravity. It's so minute compared to Earth. You can take off with ease, wouldn't need much fuel, shut off the engine, cruise over to Earth, get into a burn so that you can get into orbit, and there you go, and land. The only time it needed something was to be piggybacked on a 747 to take off. Remember the very first one, the Enterprise, where they piggybacked it onto a 747 and off it went. It just literally took off and on its own, and that was the end of it. But to come back, you didn't need to do that. So they could literally go to the moon, come back. Who the hell was paying attention back then? Think about it. Even though that was in the 80s, but not the point. It's like, whether, they could, it's a whole lot of things that we probably don't even know, right? Just because they say, well, we're doing tests with this rocket. How do we know that? How many people do you know are literally sitting there with telescopes watching every craft that takes off that you know of anyway? Not many. So they could be coming and going, you'd never know it. Now, a lot of people argue, but other countries will know you're doing it. Okay, but again, they could just say it's a test flight. We wanted to go out in orbit and then bring it back. You as a country, if you're in the UK, you can't watch a rocket that takes off from us, unless of course you're getting the word and you got other people corresponding with each other saying, yeah, they just launched something. And even then, like I said, the SR-71, it's pretty much almost invisible to the radar. So if it is, retrofit it, take off with that, it's got landing gear, go to the moon, do what you got to do over there and come back. But make a bigger design, obviously, so you can actually put stuff in and store it and stuff like that and bring it over to the moon. You can pretty much do anything you want. How do we know that hasn't happened? No idea. Pat Owen, what's going on? Good to see you in there. You said, I bet most of the UFO sightings are from Earth. Well, funny enough, they keep saying that. Have you seen this when they were talking about how these UFOs were over the Ukraine when all this is going on? There was one I just read about. Where was that at? Well, they're talking about how they're interested in our military. How do we know this is just not other countries coming over to our country and just snooping around? It's one thing to have a satellite up in space, which they can see pretty good, right? They can see down in the ground pretty well. But that doesn't mean anything. I mean, if I can get up real close and see even closer, and I can take off, you'll never catch me. I'll do it all day long. Just go like this and look around your military base, and I ain't got crap here, and off I go. And I can go anywhere and do it quick. I don't think a whole lot of this is from outer space. Now, I'm not saying there's none of it, because clearly there is, but I don't know. And how do we know? Sometimes when people see things on the moon, they say, well, it looks like a little spacecraft leaving. How do we know it's not ours? Maybe since the 50s and 60s. We built a base up there, we just kept going, now we're still coming and going. How do we know? Remember, because they keep saying we want to make the moon a jump-off point, so less fuel to take off. So in other words, you want to bring all the fuel to the moon, okay, store it, or make your own fuel, and then you want to take off from there, right from the moon off of there. So produce your own fuel. It doesn't take much to get off the moon, whatever spacecraft you want to build, and then you can go to the jump-off point, any planet in the solar system. They might have been doing this for X amount of years already, 50, 75 years. We don't know that. And now they've got different propulsion, so they can probably do it a whole lot quicker, don't even need that kind of fuel, and just, there you go. Enrico, he said, put a cat on top of the UFO and you'll get great pictures. Yeah, they probably have a lot better vision, too. What's going on there, Massanissa? Good to see you in there. So, hello, everybody. Glad to have you in there. I don't think you've been around. Well, you've been here and there. And sometimes, it gets busy, things happen. Let me see. Okay, hold on. Okay, I can see there's a couple of things I haven't jumped on. Hey, Chris, brilliant couple of Gigapans Ganders this week. I appreciate it, Ricardo. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do a lot more of those because I know a lot of you guys like these things, and I like them a lot too because it's not just one photo of like a few things. You can literally go across a whole pan, and you never know what you're going to find. But I'll also be doing the enhancements as well because I believe that you're not seeing the whole picture. So some things obvious, some things not so much. And that's what I want to bring out as well. So we're going to use a combination of these things. I like doing Gigapans. I like looking at Gigapans. There's just a lot to see in them. Some of them, not so much, like I said, right? What's going on there, Flux Capacitor 72 Monty? Good to see you in there. Oh, Mars League, she must have asked this earlier. He said, okay, last time, do you know why Curiosity rover is moving away from Mount Shop, so-called Shop? I don't think they are unless they've said that, but the whole idea is that the actual Curiosity is in a giant crater, and Mount Shop is like a mountain or whatever the heck was there, like a residual, whatever, in the center of, because I think it's like 100 miles wide, in the center of Gale Crater. So I don't know why they would say that if you found that on either space.com or a NASA site, but they can't. I guess they could move away from it if they want to go towards the Gale Crater wall, but I don't. The whole idea of that mission was to go up. What do you call it, Mount Shop? So, and I believe they're already up there. They claim that they moved along. They went from where it landed, and if you were looking at an aerial view, and it's about 1.5 miles. And when I say the very bottom, I'm talking about flat, where it's just completely flat. To the base of that mountain, it's about 1.5 miles. Let's call it 2 miles. And then they were supposed to go along, run along the actual base of the mountain. Then they're supposed to go up into it. And I think they've been there a long time ago. And they just make it look like, no, we're still down here. We're trying to figure a way to go up there. Because if you look at their map, they've been constantly doing this. So they'll go into an area, pull back out, going into an area, pull back out, or go around, right? And they say, well, it's kind of a dead end. So, but the whole thing was supposed to be like 10 miles. You know, again, uh, go to the base, follow the base along, and then go up into the mountain. So it's supposed to be 10 miles total. And I don't know what they're doing now. I haven't heard that. Now, if you have, I mean, I'd be interested to read that. Nessa, you said, hi, Chris. Hope you are fine. I am. I hope you're doing well. Nessa, okay. I think I forgot the other NI. It's a tongue twister, really. Okay, Jean was just saying it too. He said apparently it's heading for an ancient riverbed. Yeah, but that's going to be right there at the base of it. So, I think they've already. Well, here's the thing: if they've been up the mountain, came back down, that's probably what they're doing. Maybe they got all the answers they needed, and now they're coming back down. Just follow the base along and go, like you said, like Jean's saying, to the ancient riverbed. Cloudy with a chance of UFOs. You said, yep, they got away with so much, Chris, and we don't even know what they were up to over the years. Could have been anything. All black tech and SSP stuff. Yeah, I mean, we just don't know. And because there's a lot less people who had telescopes and, radio equipment and everything else, how would anybody know? Now it's like it's hard to get away with, so they got to really have their technology up to date so they can really hide what they really need to hide, right? You can see I got a bunch of these tabs open. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I won't hang on these too long, right? Let me see. I don't need that. Don't need that. Okay. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Anyway, NASA finally. Oh, get this. You'll love this. Again, you guys will get all the articles, so we don't have to read the whole thing. But it says NASA finally opened 50-year-old Apollo moon rock sample as agency eyes human return to the lunar surface. It's just the best thing in the world, like a kid in a candy store. I was reading this article, and I think I came down to, where was this at? Where was this at? I was reading this here. Okay, where was this at? I'm trying to read where this was, this particular one, and I thought it was kind of comical how they put it. Oh yeah, here it is. Let me get my face out of the way. I don't think it's in the way, but let me enlarge this. Get a hold of this. Apollo 17 core sample 73001 was held aside as part of the agency's Apollo Next Generation Sample Analysis Program. In the 1970s, NASA recognized that technologies of the future would be able to unveil fresh information for our lunar neighbor. So the agency saved a portion of the rocks for future scientists to analyze. Now, call me silly here, but wasn't the whole thing, that mission, because of that? So let me get this right. So you went up to the moon, got the dust, got the rocks, core samples. We just don't have the technology to analyze it. What? That's the way I'm reading that. It's like the way it actually says it. Recognize that the technology of the future would be able to unveil fresh information. What would change? Now, I'm sure there'd be a few minor changes, and of course, would make it a little bit more precise analysis of the soil, whatever it may be, right? It's almost like they went, yeah, we're just going to go up there for the heck of it, right? We're just going to go ahead and get these core samples, get this dust, these rocks. We'll just put it away for another time, though, so we can analyze it better. Really? That's right, because that's not what you were really up there for. You're up there for a recon mission. That's right. That's what it's all about. Now, am I saying that sample right there, that dust in that tube is not real? No, it's real. But that's not the main reason why they were there. John, what? Hit the thumbs up, but don't break it. Yeah, if you guys hadn't hit the thumbs up, please do so. I appreciate you. Renee V said, you are my YouTube heroes. Me, Jean Ward, and Joe from Art Alien TV. Well, I appreciate that. That's cool. No Taz knows the color looks so fake. Well, I mean, it is. I mean, it really looks like an ash more than anything, right? But let's suppose it's 100% real. And I believe that they probably did. But they just went, just put this stuff in the tube, guys. This is, we got to make it look good. It's like that PR move we got to do. Yeah. Just go ahead and pack it in there. We'll just throw it on the lander and let's get the hell out of here. But that's not why they were there. This was a rush job, as far as I'm concerned. Now, did they do the test? Did they do the core sampling? Yes. But that's not why they were there. They were probably doing a like scouting out for the future missions that come up that had nothing to do with the actual Apollo missions, meaning the other missions that followed after that. That we had Apollo 17, everybody said it went to 18, 19, 20. It might have been much, much more than that. They just stopped calling them missions and just said, let's just go. They're just routine. That's it. They call them these certain number of ones for the public, but as far as anything else, it's just a routine trip now back and forth, right? Ricardo, he said, spectroscopy techniques are vastly better than what they were in the early 70s, which I was saying that. They're probably better as far as testing. So it makes sense to preserve some samples for future analysis, which you're right. That's why I said I'm sure there's some differences in the test, right? More precise and everything else. But I find it a little strange how, when you look at these samples, you just go, okay, but you can almost bet it's a simple sample. It's not, that complicated where they couldn't analyze it and tell exactly what it was. You know what I mean? Now, I agree that there's probably some compositions that probably couldn't be seen back in the day, and now they're much better, right? So the analysis is much, much better. But it still makes you wonder, okay. But like I said, I've always stated this, and I'm going to keep stating it. This is not the reason why they were there. I'm sure maybe they were getting the samples to see if it had radiation in it. And I don't mean solar radiation, I mean any other type. And other things, fragments in the sand, or these rocks, but that's not the main reason, like I said, why they were there. I don't believe that's the case at all, judging about what we've seen in these photos. And that goes for Mars as well, right? Pat Owen, looks like Space Coke. Great question. No Toss knows. You said, how do you, I guess you were saying, how do you know it's real? Well, yeah, basically we don't know, like you and I. We don't know that because we haven't sampled it ourselves, right? So this could be entirely fake. Because remember before they were saying that the rocks were fake, some of it was petrified wood, they fooled the people. Like they gave some of these rocks to some of these museums around the world, and they found that it was complete bogus crap. So it wouldn't surprise me if this was fake. They probably took it out of somebody's fireplace for all we know, right? So yeah, we'll just call it moon dust. But they showed pictures, quote unquote, of them, making core samples and taking, sand and digging and all this other stuff. So you have to believe that part's real. Now, whether this is actual moon dust, there's no way anybody can tell this, right? But again, let's say it's 100% real. That's not the main reason why they're there. This, like I said, this was like a big show. It was a PR move for the public, and that's basically what I think. And like I said, judging by the photos, what we've seen, what's on the moon, and the stuff that's behind the astronauts, or what the astronauts were near, yeah, that's not why they were there. That was a recon mission. Yeah, I believe you're right, Jean. You said keep getting this itch. For some reason, it's like when I go to work, I get this itch in my throat and I start coughing. And then it takes a while before it goes away. So it's always fun. The astronauts were mandated to retrieve technology from structures on the moon. I think it was spacecraft, structures, and whatever else was there, right? And I think that's what they were really there for. Jimmy Hoffa's ashes. It's like, that's where he's been all this time. Man. Yeah, I heard the same thing, Pat. I don't know how true that is. You said, I heard the astronauts were told not to come back by the inhabitants of the moon. I don't know. Like I said, it sounds interesting until you say, Okay, but now they got the Artemis program coming up. So they plan to go back to the moon. So did they get friendly after that and make a treaty with them and then they're more than welcome there? I don't know. Is there anything on the moon other than us? You know, as far as I'm concerned, I believe we actually have a base on the moon. And this may be what people see coming and going from the moon. I don't know. Just a guess, right? Because we really don't know. There's no way to actually see this or find this out. Dan Martin says, gotta go play some pickleball. Take care, everyone. All right, Dan. Glad you were here, man. And have a good time with that, right? Alfie Joe Bob, what's happening? Good to see you in there. Good to have you in there. Renee V said, of course not. Technique of the old is the goal. You are completely right, but keeping it secret is damn sneaky. Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's all about who can become the superpower, right? No matter what country goes up there first, they're going to have first dibs, or at least they're going to try to snatch this technology before anybody else can. So go up there, get what you can off of it, whether it's just a metal, just a composition of the metal. We want to know what this is. We can build our own crafts. Maybe you want to rip out the technology out of it somehow and then figure out how it works. Or figure a way at some point, maybe there's something, maybe it's a real small craft and they can figure a way to get that back in another later mission. You know, take dimensions. Okay, it's this big by this big, blah, 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 blah. Can they move it by hand? Now, obviously, something really large, you're not doing that. I don't care what the gravity is on the moon. But it could help. Let's say it was nil, like 0.00001%. You might be able to pick up something that just weighs like a ton. You know, people don't think of it a ton. That's like right around 2,000 pounds. But with no gravity at all, where's the weight at? So No, Taz knows, says they are there for the tall buildings intact. Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. They're there for anything that's on that moon, and that's why they went. And like I said, I don't think they ever stopped. They kept going, and they're probably got a base and everything. And right now, they've been probably doing this energy thing for a long time. You know, helium-3, whatever else, like the water itself. You know, so they can make fuel. So once they do go up there, and like I said, I think they already have a base up there. They've already got it perfected. Think about it. You could literally have a base up there, and you're trying to, maybe you're doing the experiments up there with craft. What's the worst going to happen? You go to take off on the moon, and it crashes on the moon. Who cares? It's not a residential area, although we don't want to see the pilot die. But the thing is, it's like you can do all the experiments you want down underground or in a base, and then you can just fly it around the moon. Okay, it's working. You know, and then you can have at it, just like anti-gravitics. You got anti-gravity. You're like, go to Mars, see what's going on over there, come back. Oh, dinner time. I mean, you can almost bet they perfected all of this. Mars Leaks, she said there are several bases on the moon. Well, that I don't doubt. I really don't. And I believe a lot of this is on the far side of the moon. Let me see. Is that Riri? Am I pronouncing that correctly? Montgomery, he said the moon is a big mystery. The bell sounds from it. I think it's artificial moon. Yeah, I mean, they've been stating this for a long time, right? They purposely crashed these rocket boosters into the moon. And like I said, they got seismographs on the moon. They literally took these seismographs to the moon, set them out on there, purposely slammed something into the well, I was going to say lunar surface and sooner anyway, at the same time. But, so they crashed this, and it rings like a bell for like X amount of time. And they've done this several times, right? So it would imply there's literally, you know, it's hollow. So is it possible it's just caves underneath where they did this? In other words, it's like and some kind of caverns where because at one time the moon did have some lava flow, right? So is it possible it's just giant like caverns under the surface? It's a possibility, but ring like a bell? I mean, how does that make sense? So, of course, they did find some really. They found some metals on the moon. I know that. So what I find interesting is that they're finding these different metals on the moon. You go, industrialization perhaps? A structure maybe blown to pieces? Or something that's residual that once it was blown to pieces or something was made there, you got residual in the soil? Kind of like what happened up in Antarctica. There's a certain area where they've done a test of the soil, and they found there's like these metals in there. It can only indicate like industrialization. Yep. William Scott, you said, I remember astronauts saying moon dust smelt like damp ash. Yeah, and there is moisture on the moon. We know that. In fact, people said that there's like a mist on the moon and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting. A great question, Mimi. How do we know they didn't? You said, why didn't the Apollo astronauts land on the far side of the moon? That we know of, no. But we don't know. Think about it. It's like I said, to me, if I was an alien race, I would think, okay, there's actually beings on this mother planet. So why don't we build on the far side of the moon this way? Even as their technology gets better, they're going to want to gaze up at this moon. We want to be scarce because it is tidal locked. We don't have to worry about it, right? So why don't we do that? And it's the same thing. Why wouldn't we do the same? We'd be up on the other side of the moon as well, on the far side, where they know technology is getting better and better. People, just regular people, getting these good-sized telescopes and can see on the moon. So if that's the case, they're going, yeah, they're going to see us at some point, guys. Let's not do that. So it would make sense to be on the far side of the moon. Funny enough, we've seen where that Chinese restaurant, I'm thinking of restaurants. Hey, honey, let's eat. Yeah, kidding. But anyway, so, man, restaurant, it sounds good. But, so you got the Chinese rocket literally crashes into the moon. Where did it go again? Oh, that's right, the far side. Imagine that. So what are they doing up there? Why didn't it crash anywhere where we could see it? Like when I say sides, meaning it's on the visual areas that we can see it. Why don't we see that? It's crazy, right? Coincidental? Not so sure. Yeah, I heard that too, Pat, which is really weird. Was it burnt steak? He said, I heard space smells like burnt steak. If it had like that, like a really weird stink, right? Harvey, so that's where that song came from. Ring my bell, ring my bell. Les Kapak says, Bob Lazar, he was right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, is it possible we get the technology and we built it from scratch? In other words, we did not copy a UFO. It's a possibility. All you got to do is just make an anti-gravity engine and then build something around it. So you say to yourself, okay, what would be the best aerodynamic shape to go in any direction if we change direction any way we want to? Saucer? I mean, of course, it can't be that fat because it's got to be kind of really sleek, right? But if you were to have a saucer that came to like a point all around the edge, you're completely aerodynamic. Now, if you build it so high with the extra dome on it, yeah, it's just not going to happen. But you can literally go in any direction, and you're pretty much aerodynamic. So it makes sense. Is it possible they had a down craft, recovered it, duplicated it? Sure, absolutely. But it's funny because a lot of people are questioning like the one in Area 51. They're going, okay, so let's get this right. So here's an alien race. Come from whatever the distance they came from. Came to Earth and crashed. What happened? I mean, really, it's like they come all this distance. Was it like the gravity caught them off guard? I mean, what happened? Because if they got anti-gravitics as well, that shouldn't be an issue, right? So unless we shot it down, how did it come down and hit the ground? It's things you need to check on, Equalizer, what's happening? Say good evening. How is everyone? I'm doing well, Equalizer. Good to see you, and I hope you're doing good. Yeah, Pat, that's exactly what I was thinking about. I went from Chinese rocket to restaurant. From actually vice versa. But Chinese food buffet, Chris. Chinese food, but I like the way you think. McDonald's myth. I like their sweet tea though. How many of you guys like the sweet tea? Have you tried it? McDonald's? To me, hands down, it seems to be the best one. Am I the only one who thinks that, or is there a better one out there? Okay, so you get this here, but I thought that was still kind of weird how they said that. But you know, it's like Ricardo was saying, like having an extra one or just putting one aside for the future generation to look at, it makes sense. But it's like if you're going to do these types of tests, wouldn't you already have the actual test available to test the soil? Maybe they just thought, you know, it will get better. So like we were talking about that, maybe they just stored one away. So I don't know. But yeah. Mars helicopter Ingenuity soars on 22nd Red Planet flight. I love when they keep calling it Red Planet. And this was published 3 years ago. Ingenuity and NASA's Perseverance rover are headed toward an ancient Martian river delta. And this might be what you guys are talking about, but keep in mind that the Perseverance is in Jezero Crater. It is not at Mount Sharp. That's in Gale Crater. So that's what confused me. I'm saying, I don't remember them saying that. Now, when you're talking about the Perseverance, absolutely, that makes sense. That's what kind of threw me off. So that's why I was going, huh? Robert, yeah, there you go. You know what ring my bell really means, right? Oh, yeah. 786 Otto, good to see you. And he says, hello. What's going on, Otto? Good to see you in there. But yeah, this is why I'm going. I remember the Perseverance moving along, but I don't remember the Curiosity. But so yeah, anyway, it's probably an honest mistake. But this is in Jezero Crater, or Jezero Crater, depending how you want to pronounce it. And of course, the helicopter made another flight. And of course, I think it went 10 meters. I think it flew like 10 meters in the sky. I won't play any sound because you know how that goes. Let me see here. 22nd flight on Mars. But I'll let you guys read that. I'll get my... Let me go back a little bit, see if my body was in the way here. I'll do it way over here. Just so we can see that. 101.4 seconds, altitude up to 10 meters. So, pretty cool, right? 21st flight on Mars, March 10th, 2022. You can see its leg there on the upper right corner. Actually, you can see one in the real lower right corner as well. Just the footing of it. So they're going to land right on a sand dune. That makes sense. Yeah, sure it does. So yeah. NASA's Mars helicopter Ingenuity has done it again, soaring successfully on its own 22nd Red Planet flight. The 4-pound, 1.8 kilogram Ingenuity stayed aloft for 101.4 seconds and reached a maximum altitude of 33 feet or 10 meters during the sortie, which took place on Sunday, March 20th, according to a Monday, March 21st tweet by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, in Southern California, which manages Ingenuity's mission. Okay, so yeah, everybody's got their hands in this, folks. Oh yeah. Equalizer says, Skunkworks said, oh, hold on. Oh, there's Huygens. But I can't play her because, again, copyright. We love that. Imagine all that you think we could make 50 years from now. Whatever you have imagined, we have already made it. And that's how advanced we are. That is a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, I mean, I've seen that because there was this one gentleman that actually said that. And he says, whatever you imagine, we've already done it. Think about how crazy that sounds, folks. Oh, yeah, it's old hats for us. Yeah, what do you think about that new technology? It's like almost like the Star Wars or Star Trek. Oh, come on, please. That's toy stuff. Really? Just don't know, right? Oops. NASA to announce Hubble Space Telescope discovery next week. This is coming up, I think, Wednesday, folks. This Wednesday coming up, if I'm not mistaken. The Hubble Space Telescope has been deployed April 25th, 1990 from the Space Shuttle Discovery. And, of course, they're talking about image credit, NASA Smithsonian Institution, Lockheed Corporation. See how everybody's in this? Lockheed's in there. The DOD's in there. The NASA statement promises one for the record books and an exciting new observation from nearly a 32-year-old telescope. It's tricky to guess what that discovery might be, given that the Hubble telescope, or space telescopes, where work stretches from exoplanets to galaxies to measuring an expansion of the universe. The last bit garnered the multi-observatory team a Nobel Prize. All right, let's see. NASA has offered little other information beyond promising that the Hubble result not only extends our understanding of the universe, but creates an exciting area of research for Hubble's future work with NASA's newly launched James Webb Space Telescope. Which I was going to say that. It's like, wouldn't the James Webb Telescope actually replace Hubble? Because it's supposed to, and I don't know if you guys have seen the photos of that, the James Webb, where they've got everything focused now, all of the mirrors are focused, and they got basically a prime focus now. It's insane what this thing's doing now. So I can't wait to see that. I think it said Wednesday. Let me see here. Yeah, Wednesday, March 20th. Okay. So yeah, get ready for that. We need to check that out. All right, let me see what else we got here. Chinese Mars orbiter spies Zhurong Perseverance rovers. So it's looking at both the Zhurong as well as the Perseverance. Now the funny thing about it is when it shows this picture. Now I stopped it right here. This is at 59 seconds. Of course, again, you guys will get the page and you'll be able to look at this yourself, right? Notice the reddish pukey color, which I find really interesting and hilarious at the same time. I'm looking at this, but guess what? I threw it into Photoshop and looked at it. This is what I found. Just did it, had to do its auto color, auto contrast, and things like that, right? This is what I come up with. I didn't do anything else to the photo, just everything auto and Photoshop. This is the real colors of Mars, not that crap they keep showing us. Jean taking over already? Say good night, folks. See you all in the next video very soon. And by the way, Jean, like I said, I don't know if you're going to be busy next week, but I'm gonna have you jump on board. And if Will does get back to me, if we have to, we'll do a separate one. I don't care. We can do 2 in 1 week. What do you guys think? 2 hangouts in 1 week? Ain't gonna know how to act. And I like what Jean, what you've been doing lately with your videos. Really cool stuff. So, like I said, I love the perspective. I'm on the ground, he's in the air, basically satellite, and just good work all the way around. And the thing is, it's like more and more people are starting. Like I said, Will got back into it. So just bits and pieces, bringing it out, put it all together. And like I said, you know, I don't care. It would take some incredible, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, evidence to disprove what I've seen over the years. I mean, you literally, there's no way you could disprove it. Unless you said tomorrow, by the way, all those photos are completely fake. We made them up. Okay. Well, then you still have to explain why, one way or the other. But you can see the difference in these photos. Look at this. Complete puke. You know what I mean? It's actually sad to see that. And like I said, just an auto color and auto contrast and auto brightness and stuff, and that's what you get. That's the actual photo right there. That one, F NASA. Yeah, exactly. I've seen that more than once. Notaz knows. He said, remember the NASA guy who said, yeah, in fact, I think he was in I think he was on the ISS at the time, wasn't he? He said, we don't have the technology to land on the moon, but we did back then. Yeah, we did. I don't know where and why they even said that, because although, you know, many people think it's fake, when you really analyze these photos, it was, you know, it's definitely real. because there's stuff being hidden in there that shouldn't be there. What I find interesting is that 1 minute one guy's saying this on the ISS, but then NASA's saying we're going back. What's the deal here? You know, who's telling the truth, who's lying here? All of them. Mr. Pete Ferrero says scientists can only do so of rock research. Okay, just look at ancient sites that can't be researched for age through stones or rocks. That's true. I mean, they can only do so much carbon dating. I mean, there's different types of carbon dating, but they are limited, right? And there's only so many things you can carbon date, rather. So yeah, absolutely. Robert Morgan said if MRO can take video of that small of an object, then yeah, exactly. So you know the photos are going to be better than that. To me, I'm seeing like lighter areas. It looks like a tinge of green here and there as well. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that, but that's actually the true photo right there. That's the way actual Photoshop sees it. And that's not by me doing that. It's just auto enhancing or actually just defining the colors, right? And that's what it's seeing. It's not seeing that at all. In fact, we can do this. Yeah, I'm going to put it like that right there. Big difference with photos. Come on, look at that. Huge difference. Pat Owen says Chinese rover is going to EMP Perseverance. I think that'd be a really bad move, because then we'd probably have to go kick the snot out of them. Equalizer, your question was, is teleportation of organic material a possibility? I know they have started doing teleportation with, I think, on a molecular scale. I don't believe that they've done it with anything organic. At least I don't remember hearing that. Anybody else hear about that? Pat Owen says, yeah, do 2 hangouts in a week. That would be pretty interesting, wouldn't it? Oops. Kylie said, where'd you go? It was up here. Oh, it just jumped on me here. I was just ready to I don't know where it went back to. Now I gotta go back. Okay, there it is there. Well, Mountain Bear, I didn't see you in there. The rich and powerful are controlling the exotic technologies. Pretty much. Oh, you were talking to Pat at the time. He said they will never show us the good stuff. It'll just be animated crap. Pretty much. Pat Owen says this is a distraction from James Webb. Well, I mean, there's just so much going on. So I don't know about a distraction, but there is a lot going on with space right now. Notice it's like all like building up and building up. Like so many things are going on all of a sudden. Like just going everywhere. It's almost like they've already, let's say we go by the moon, right? In other words, we say, well, they're on the moon. And it's almost like they're ramping it up even more so that, you know, when they actually do finally go to the moon, they're already set up. In other words, they got a base up there and everything. They got to make it look like, yeah, we're going to go through this grueling process now to, you know, build a base up there and, you know, get a refinery type thing to extract water and make fuels and blah, 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 blah. And all along, they've been doing it all along. It's like, yeah, we're going to have it already completed on the ground here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just bring it up there. So it'd be like functioning in no time, when in actuality, they already are. Ricardo, he said, go for the hangout before next Friday. I can't stay up for next Friday as I am super early for a flight on Saturday morning. Oh, I got you. I got you. We can always do that. We'll have to see, because like I said, it's been getting crazy at work down with the increasing hours and everything else. So we'll have to see what happens. Renee says, sounds great. 2 hangouts. Way! Well, you got that right. No Taz knows. He said, too many things NASA tells us just don't jive. Well, I mean, when they tell you that it's a red or orangey planet like we're seeing there, and then simple Photoshop does that, and this is the photo you get. Or when they, when the InSight lander lands and it takes the first photo, it's an actual blue sky, and not a minute or two later, suddenly it's orangey and reddish kind of crap again. What's going on? Did it instantly just change the day, got extremely dusty? Silly question, right? We both know the answer to this. Pat Owen said, NASA are a-holes. Unfortunately, yeah. Pat Owen, he said, try to get Billy Carson back on. He's got a lot of, he's been, my God, he's been everywhere. He's been so damn busy. He's been in and out of the country. It'd be hard to get a hold of him again. But, yeah, I always like spending time with him and talking about different things. Ancient, civilizations and technologies and all kinds of cool stuff. You said, Mimi, you asked, what's the circle on the right side? Talking about this one way over here? That's just another crater. You got one here on the lower left, one here in the almost the center, and you got one here on the right. I don't see another though. Yeah, I'm not seeing another. Funny enough, if you bring down this area right here, it almost looks like, and it may just be parts of the photo, it's like digital kind of thing, where it almost looks like there's long stretched out structures right here, and it looks like there's a bunch of structures right in this area. I did it real quick, and I said, that might be just the actual digital part of the photo. It might be just artifacts, and so I didn't bring that out. But this alone, that's, in other words, me not doing anything to this photo. This is what you come up with. Oh, it's no toes nose. Okay. Okay, I got you. I like that no toes. You remember? Oh yeah. Tim Houston, what's going on? He said, hey, you guys. Good morning, Chris. What's going on, Tim? Good to see you in there. So you said good morning. So you're definitely probably halfway around the world from me. And Owen says, I'm not smoking today or tomorrow. My lungs and brain need a break. Yeah, it's kind of like a lot of people do. I don't care what it is. They just go, I'll just like not do whatever on the weekend and just chill, and then of course back at it on Monday, right? Oops. You guys are nuts. I'm reading White Bear Sky Daddies. Lion pole smokers. I'm trying to be nice here. Kyle, I'll straight up being like this because you know me, guys. I think NASA can suck a fat one, basically. But we're trying to be a little bit more. There's ladies in here, guys. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's sad that we have to be like that because, we're so, everybody here love to hear the truth. Would love to see what's going on. Frustrating. And we do get all these just little bits and pieces of it, which sucks. I'm happy to at least get that. Because we could be completely shut out if you think about it, right? And it's unfortunate. They go, hey, just throw them a few scraps. Or it's just mistakes that the AI is making or the software is making, and it's going, what are we going to do, guys, until we can perfect this? So, but this is the reason why I dig through these photos sometimes, because if you can drag it out through their overlay, then you can see some things in there, and that's what's awesome. And then, of course, we do just simple gigapans, and then you can see all kinds of crazy stuff, and you go, yeah, I've seen things where, like I said, one thing looked like a miniature girder or an I-beam literally sticking out of a rock. I'm going, what the heck does that come from? It's not a rock, it's something encrusted or something that's there, or the AI just didn't take the whole thing out, meaning it didn't hide that little piece sticking out of it. So it just didn't recognize it. Maybe they just didn't have it perfected back then, but, they're doing it now. So, yeah. What's going on, Andrew Cole? Good to see you in there. It's been a long time, COVID. Well, I hope you're over it. and you hurdle it with no problem, because we know it can be a pain in the rear end, that's for sure. Oh yeah, Steve, I'll definitely do that. He said give us a bit more notice if there is a second hangout. I'll definitely do that. And we'll try to make it for the same time. This way it doesn't really throw you off. I mean, it's one thing to have an additional day, or if we moved it or whatever, but try to keep it around the same time, right? Let me see. Well, there are some in there. I like the way you're laughing about that, Steve. Ladies, Chris? Well, there are some in there. We can respect that. Did James finally make it in? James Gregan, there he is. Hello to my friend. What's going on, James? Good to see you in there. Max Best, what's going on? You said, love your videos as always. When NASA sends images of the James Webb Telescope, do you think that they will be photoshopped? I really hope not, but don't know what to believe about NASA. I think it's going to be just like, it's going to be the same thing we're seeing here. Just block it out. I think what you might hear, remember they were talking about maybe, remember they saw that when they did that test where they had what they thought was a Dyson sphere, right? Where it would literally go in front of the planet and you'd see the planet actually dim. And it was so large that they said it literally almost completely darkened this thing out. So they weren't sure exactly, and I forget what the explanation was for it, but you can imagine what they're going to see with this James, right? This James Webb. The clarity, the distance, the whole 9 yards, what they're going to see with this telescope is going to be insane. And I think that's awesome, but of course we'll be left in the cold and out, and we won't see everything really nice. But I think we're going to start to see or hear things about, is it possible this is a civilization? Is it a Dyson sphere? Is it this? No, we're just kidding with something else. But we're going to start to see more and more of this, because think about it. If they say, well, we think there's something really, really strange like 400,000 light years away, or 4 million light years away, or 4 billion light years, or whatever they'll come out with. But, what would you do? You wouldn't spaz out from it. You wouldn't get, like, oh my God, like nervous like some people would. Now, I'm not talking about people that are in the know or so desensitized to that stuff. I'm talking about just the average, public, where they'll say, really? Wow, that's kind of interesting. They won't be freaked out because it's so far away. They'll say they couldn't make it to us if they wanted to, or we couldn't make it to them if we wanted to. Think about it. So, even if they said, well, it looks like I don't know, we're not sure what that is. It's going around this planet. We're not sure. Very vague as usual. Josh D said, sadly, we live in times truth gets pushed away more and more. Yeah, it's the truth. The people that are telling the truth are now nutters, or tinfoil hatters, or whatever they call them. Some goofy crap, right? And the people that are talking trash and making up stories, they're glorified. That's what's funny. When some of these people talk about, like when they say they have like they've been abducted by UFOs, right? Think about it. If I said that to you tomorrow, guys, you wouldn't believe it. I was abducted last night, blah, blah, blah. They took me up there in a spaceship. They took me to Ringworm number 7, their planet, and it was great. You wouldn't believe the structures. How would you be able to prove that I was telling the truth? First thing you'd do is, bullshit. I mean, that's the first thing you'd say, right? Common sense, because you're skeptical, and you should be. So unless I could show you some form of, oh, by the way, they gave me this, and it turned out to be some kind of weird ray gun, I was going, no, I'm actually going to prove this. Watch this. Poof, and blow a hole through the wall. You go, okay, that could probably be made here on Earth because they got lasers, very high-powered lasers. But to see something like that, you go, maybe there's some truth to this. But I find it so hard to believe the stories that some people tell. Or it's just ridiculous. Like, it requires, like, it's like people go, well, that's fine. Like, it requires no proof at all. It's like, I can't do that. That's why I'm always skeptical about stuff like that. I go, listen, I want to see something worth seeing. If you're going to make up this, or you're going to tell me this story, show me some proof about it. Glenn Peterson says it's 11:08 a.m. here in New Zealand. Oh, pretty sweet. Already ahead of us. Les Kapak, you said bedtime for this UK old timer. Good night, Chris, and all of the rest of my fellow anomaly addicts. All right, Les, appreciate you being here, man. And like I said, have a good night, and we'll talk soon. Like I said, maybe we'll try to make this thing for around Wednesday. What do you guys think? I'll let you guys know. I'll put it in the community post, or I'll just say it in the video. One of the two, right? So give you guys a heads up, and we'll try to do it at the same time. It's like 4 p.m. So try to make it. But I know it'll be a little bit better for you guys now, too, because you'll be changing your time over the weekend, at least for the UK. So maybe things will work out a little bit better. What do you guys think? So if nothing, if I can get away with doing it, and I'm not going to be busy at work, we'll try to do it for Wednesday. And like I said, I'll give you guys a heads up whether I can or not. Yeah, I mean, Kyle, no, believe me, I feel you. You said, I know sometimes what I say is not civilized, but is down to earth truth. And yeah, what was that saying they said before? They said people that swear the most are the ones that tell the truth the most of the time. I can promise you this, I get a mouth like a truck driver at times, but I try to keep it PG because I know there's families can watch this, there's women on here, I'm just not going to do that. You know, I want to show respect for everybody out there. What I like to do is like my own podcast, and then you'll see the real me, because then you can really lay it out. But, you know, yeah, you try to keep it clean if you can. I mean, that's just the way to do it. Because there's a lot of good people in here. Some people, you know, they're not okay with that. But I do feel you, Kyle. I mean, it's about, you know, just being straight up, you know. I'm going to jump way down here. Oh, okay. Andrew Coley says, still struggling with COVID, hard to type, but so happy to be here tonight. Well, nothing wrong with that. I can tell you right now, take some zinc. It'll definitely beef up your immune system and get the emergency, the packets, the powder packets, and just whack this thing down. You know what I mean? You got to do it. You got to fight it off. And I hope it turns out good for you. Pete Ferrari said, Elon giving the Ukrainians internet through Starlink must be really pissing off the Russians and Chinese. Well, yeah, I mean, the good thing about having satellite is like you can basically give the companies around you the finger because it's like, you know, who are you to monopolize? So I love the idea that you have other options, although satellite can be taken up by inclement weather, but it's still a lot better if you're like in a desolate area or, you know, your communications are knocked out. This is a perfect way to do it, right? And it's been helping out the military big time too. So that's what I love about it. It's great. And he's trying to help them out as much as he can. Yep, hump day it is, Pat. Like I said, we'll just make it for Wednesday, but I'm not going to promise you we're going to have it. So I will give you the heads up. I don't want to leave you guys hanging. Kyle said, and then we can have a real blast. We can go to a McDonald's and order a bunch of French fries and go with my high. Oh yeah. Andrew goes, hump day, haha. Is it every day hump day? Oh wait a minute, we're talking about a different hump day. Hold on. Let's scratch that. Third eye open. Oh, that's funny, Chris. You should hear my mouth. Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know. I'm not saying I think people who don't swear are not good people. Of course they are. But it's funny because like I'll just lay it out sometimes. People going, they look at me like, what? But I go, listen, this is the way I feel, man. I just tell it like it is. you know, I wouldn't say I'm basically from the streets, but I'm born and raised in the city and stuff like that, and I just tell it like it is, and some people can't deal with that, but yeah, I like to tone it down. I mean, I don't like to get too brutal about it, but sometimes if you ever heard me when I was attacked by another channel and basically, said I was doing this and doing that to this person, I laid into him. Let's just say it was definitely R-rated, and then I had to go ahead and get rid of it because everybody's like, oh man, don't stoop to his level. And I said, you know what, I just got tired of it. I just had enough and just let him rip. So, you hate to be like that because you're trying to be the better person, of course, but sometimes it just goes, I can't. I just can't do it. There's some things I can tolerate and I can just let roll off, I don't care. And then there's times it says, no, I'm not going to let that happen. Just not going to happen. Let's see. I liked it. That was funny, third eye. You should hate my mouth. Gayless Jaden says, I can't help but feel that we're headed in the same direction as Mars, and it's scary. You know what? It really is, because, like I said, at what point do we say, okay, enough is enough, and say, listen, we got to tone it down as a civilization and not attack each other and whatnot, right? So, yeah, I mean, where does it stop, Did they really just take all of this off here? Come on. Okay. They're actually going. There's documents right here. Let me see if there it is. There's one. This is from, and if you guys are not familiar with this, this is from the Black Vault. And a lot of this has, what they do is they pressure, they go for the FOIA. So what they do is they want information, so they'll file for it. You can see reconnaissance programs right here. What was funny is he said, look at the difference when we asked about on this date, and you can see document archive. Now, it was showing the photos earlier, but now I have to click on them. That's just weird. So you got like old release and new release, right? Check this out. This one here. If you look at this particular paper, that's not, well, it's going to allow me to do it. Just a little bit. But you can see where it's blacked out right here. It's got a square, right? By this note, I am transmitting to you a signed agreement between NASA and the DoD/CIA. Here you go, folks. Here's proof. The latter as represented, it says latter, is represented by their Joint Operation Unit, the NRO, concerning NASA blank programs. Well, here's the new one. Let me do this. Get this back down to 110. Get that out of there. And you're not going to let me do it. Thank you very much. Now they're all there. Now, this is what they blacked out. Right there. Reconnaissance. That's what they blacked out. It's like, seriously? But it just goes to show you. Reconnaissance programs. All right? But that was the old one, and then they got the new one, and they didn't black that out. Why? Even he says it's actually pretty comical. He said, note that below a montage of images may be too small to read, depending on your monitor, so click on it, blah, 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 and make it larger. But he said, however, the following document was the first released in National Security Archive circa 2015. There were some redactions, so the Black Vault filed for Mandatory Classification Review, or the MDR, case in November 27, 2021. Since the document was only a few pages, it took only about a month to complete. However, this MDR case was a little strange. In most cases, an MDR success is when redacted are lifted, even in part. And it says the MDR failure is when nothing changes. This, I'm saying question mark, not sure what you call this, but additional redactions were added and not removed. In a rather humorous, albeit frustrating, outcome, I highlighted both releases below so you can see what they felt they need to cover up now versus not cover up in the past. And like I said, it's like they covered up reconnaissance, right? Then you go to this one, they completely redacted the bottom of this one. You can see that. This reconnaissance program agreement formalizes arrangements between NASA and the DoD, CIA. See, it keeps saying the latter, I guess it is. That's weird. Let me do this. Okay. What was it? Oh, that's the other one. Okay. And it's harder to see this one as opposed to this one. Programs agreement formalizes arrangements between NASA and the DoD. The latter became, being identified through out of this paper by a joint operational, the National Reconnaissance Office, NRO, and recognized that NASA has a requirement to perform both unmanned and manned lunar reconnaissance operations, and will in some cases be required to testing equipments in Earth orbit prior to engaging in lunar operations. While NRO, by virtue of its capabilities and the ongoing reconnaissance satellite programs, has developed the necessary technology, contractor resources, and management skills to produce satisfactory equipment, and appropriate security methods to preserve these capabilities, which is currently covert and highly sensitive. The arrangement will properly match NASA's requirements with NRO capabilities to perform lunar reconnaissance. So, to carry out these arrangements, the following procedure will normally be employed. After reviewing NASA stated requirements in the light of NRO DoD experience in, that's the way they word it. Reconnaissance technology and operations, and then it says verifying the NRO development technologies applicable to still considered classified above confidential, and agreeing to a set of specifications for the reconnaissance equipment. It will be responsibility of the NRO to select a contractor, generally from among those engaged in the present covert reconnaissance programs, to develop equipment meeting these specifications. So, yeah, I mean, you can just see where they blacked this out right here. It says fashion black. What's that right there? That is weird. What the hell did they do that for? So we've got two here, and then what they did was they blacked out. It's going to be protected. Okay. Generally from among those engaged in these present covert, and develop equipment meeting those specifications in a secure and protected or black fashion, quote unquote black fashion. So it's basically saying that, you can see where it's completely taken out here, where they stopped it at specifications at the bottom. So these black ops, so to speak, is what's going on. So they completely redacted this compared to that. There was something up there, and they still had it redacted up here on this one as well. What is this one here saying? That's only one page. What the heck is that? Let me see if this is the... Okay, so, yeah, it's talking here. Contract will be managed in such a fashion to provide adequate, detailed information of NASA contracting. Okay, I like that. Okay, who have no special access to sensitive payloads to permit them to participate in the design of circuitry, telemetry, interface arrangements, etc., and provide adequate weight, mass balance, space, power, thermal balance, and other environmental provisions in the vehicle carrying the reconnaissance equipment. That's what I'm saying, folks. It's like there's some crazy, crazy stuff in here, right? And I don't think we really know what's really going on. Tim Hughes, I can remember TV before profanity. That's true. Oh, let me see. Mikado, one of my best friends just came up with a string of expletives one day after the FFF. It was hilarious. Dropping them F-bombs, huh? Kablooey. That's funny. Goat Heart, you said, I recently saw a video, can't remember where, but they showed a structure on the moon, a circle building with a dome on top. I saw it first at Chris's channel, different photo, definite proof. Oh yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, here's what they're talking, reconnaissance. They're talking about different, just different things here. It's just crazy. You know, I'll give you the link to this, folks. This is, like I said, the Black Volt. You'll get that. You got paranormal cases. Not a big fan of those, but it's not a bad idea, right? It's not bad. But the Secretary of Defense, you can see that. But NASA reconnaissance programs. I mean, it's like, but the DOD/CIA. Those are the ones you should be angry with. Not so much NASA, although they're putting it out, but that's the ones we should really be angry with, right? This is from a TV station, KHOU 11. Now, they talk about this. I wonder if I get the audio up on this. Let me just go ahead and get my face out of this a second. Mute myself here.
Before we go, lots of people are asking us about this, a bright orange light in the sky. It was a vertical line that appeared high up in the clouds. It went away around 9:15, but we're getting reports of people seeing it from LaPorte to Clear Lake, Lake City, even down in Manville. Dave, you have a theory about what this could be.
I'm 99.9% sure it's a flare that was taking place at the Lyondell Basel plant.
Yes.
Near LaPorte.
Okay.
And the thing is, cloud droplets, which is what the clouds are made out of, little water droplets, are highly reflective. So they absolutely can reflect something like that. And I was told it was a gigantic orange flare, and that would make sense.
Have you ever seen that before?
Not like that. Not as clean, as high resolution as that.
Wow.
But that's a big one, so that's what it was. It's gone now.
I hope you're right.
Me too.
Some folks had some interesting theories on
bet.
social media.
I bet.
Exactly. You know where this is going.
Now, you can see how they were just making fun of people who said, oh, well, they had other theories. Really? But these are the people that wouldn't probably watch anything like my channel or other people's channels similar to this. Because they just have this, oh, that couldn't be true. Well, because, we got to know what's going on with these reality programs because they're more important, right? Like I said, you can ask people, what kind of landers or orbiters or whatever, whether it be rovers that are on or around Mars, and they couldn't tell you. Oh, I don't get into that. Yeah, I know, because it's actually more serious, and it could change your life if you found the information out. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Pat. First time I heard this, I laughed my butt off. He said, a flare? Yeah. She said, well, you ever seen anything like it? Now, keep in mind, I think this guy was the weather guy. Oh, no, I've never seen that. Wait a minute. You've probably seen everything possible in the sky, but yet you've never seen this. But no, it's a flare. Funny, right? What's going on there? Let's get unknown. He said, love how they end it with a laugh. That's what I was just saying, where they're just like, oh, they just laughed it off. And I think it's amusing that there's people out there so close-minded, and they were just like, well, people in social media. Okay. So just because they have their thoughts on that, they're idiots? Come on. I think these are the people that are blind sheep. They don't know. Astronomers discover spooky object emitting energy in space. They don't know what it is. And this came out on January 27th. And we covered, I should say, more than once. Now, this might be a little bit different, but it says a team of astronomers discovered something unusual while mapping out the universe. A mysterious object sending burst of energy every 20 minutes. Now, they were saying one article says 3 times an hour. Well, makes sense, right? 20 minutes. So this is basically just rewording it a little differently. It says the object is around 4,000 light years away, and although they may seem far, its energy bursts are so big that it was one of the largest radio sources in the sky. The burst would happen for 1 minute every 20 minutes before it would disappear for a few hours and then repeat the cycle. See, and of course, right off the bat, it's got to be some kind of quasar. It's got to be some kind of weird thing. I'm trying to remember if they said, let me see what it says here. Yeah, very violent for the first time. Astronomers are talking about capturing explosive death of a giant star, but that's a different topic. Where they say this one here was, no. They're just talking about the different array where they got a telescope. Astronomers have detected objects in space that turn on and off before, as they are typically the death of a massive star or what's left of one. Curtin astrophysicist, I'm sorry, just reading that wrong, and co-author Gemma Anderson said these flashes of lights are called transients, or FRBs. Now, they're not turning on and off, they're just coming out. and it's just a simple flash, and then, or it's like a radio wave or whatever, and it's just like but it's reoccurring, like Old Faithful kind of thing, only in, of course, different times. But this, I don't get how something like that can do that, like spot on every 20 minutes or whatever, because some of these vary, they vary in, like the FRBs, they vary a lot, right? Pete Ferrer, there you go. The fast answer is usually wrong. Let me see. You got that right, Kyle. They can't see the forest through the trees. Goat High, you said the weirdest stuff in our skies lately. Yes. Yeah, exactly, Pat. They don't have a clue, right? Says normies don't know. Nope. These are the kind of people who just go home and say, I'm just going to watch my reality show. That's it. And that's all they do. That's a sad existence to me. Now, don't get me wrong. If you don't mind, if you watch them, there's nothing wrong with that. But to close your mind to the possibility that there could be something more than just something simple, just a simple explanation, is wrong. Now, it could very well be, as they're saying. It could be some kind of collapsing star. It could very well be. But to close it out completely, notice how they didn't even mention it. They just said, oh, come to some of the stuff you should see on social media. And it's like, okay, how is that funny? How is that amusing? Just because you want to keep a closed mind doesn't mean everybody else should. I've done this photo before where they had like night and day. You can see the difference in this. Where they just joined the photo together. They got moonrise or sunrise, I'm sorry, and then sunset here on the left. And what they do is they combine the photo so you can see that. It's just weird how they did that. And then when you go back to the original, what they did here, the black and white, they've got sunset here on the top photo and sunrise here. Because that's 8:30 a.m. and this one here was 4:10 p.m. here in black and white. So, but there's so many things in this thing. Oh my God. We've done this where you have on this side what look like structures and everything else, and all of these down here and down lower. Well, there's some up there, as well, but all the way down here in the bottom, yeah. And of course, we got Curiosity right there. Cool picture. NASA's Curiosity rover measures intriguing carbon signature on Mars. And of course, it doesn't lead to anything, of course, you know that. Always analyzing powdered rock samples collected from the surface of Mars by NASA's Curiosity rover. Scientists today announced that several of the samples are rich in a type of carbon that on Earth is associated with biological processes, or processes, depending on people want to pronounce it. While the find is intriguing, it doesn't necessarily point to ancient life on Mars, as scientists have not yet found conclusive, supporting evidence of ancient or current biological there, such as sedimentary rock formations produced by ancient bacteria, or a diversity of complex or organic molecules formed by life. Now, before they did say that they found organic molecules, or what they thought was, suddenly, like I said, it's like you just a couple of steps forward, a few more back. It's every darn time, right? Valerian the Mac 3, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Josh D said it's sad that modern society turned most people into drones. Yeah, I don't understand how people could be that close-minded. It's mind-blowing. I would entertain it even if I was never into this kind of thing. I'd be like, what are you talking about? Again, if you're that kind of person that just wants to know, what do you mean? And they say, well, this, that, and the other, and they tell you the story. You go, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Now, it's up to you whether you want to believe or not. That's totally up to you. But I wouldn't go, oh, these people, that you know how those people are. Come on. Very, very narrow-minded. It's insane. USAF report. Submarine-shaped UFO spotted in Oklahoma in 1966. alien being entered it. Now, it goes on to say, I think it was a person who was driving along the highway, and this thing was down, settled on the road. And as soon as they got out of the car to approach it, they saw a figure get into the craft, and then it just took off. If I've read this correctly. Okay, there it is right here. The witness stopped about 100 feet beyond the submarine-shaped craft. He estimated the UFO was as long as 2 or 3 cars, and about 8 feet high, with coning tower at about a midway point and the object. There was a white flag attached to its top and a humanoid figure that wasn't described standing by it. The way he says it, okay, so it goes on a little further, but he says the witness got back into his car and started moving forward. As he drove away, his headlights came on the object again. He didn't see the craft depart and reported no other effects of his close approach. Now, let me see. There's a flash, and then the headlights went out. It's kind of like a Close Encounters. Remember that? Like when what's his name was in the truck, and it come over and just stalled it out, and then the lights went retarded and everything else. But really, really interesting. And of course, they have other observer from Mount Everest sees horizon away. But what does it say? Does not see Earth. Oh my God! Let's not get into that. I love that. An observer from Mount Everest sees horizon 330 kilometers away. 339 kilometers away. But why he or she does not see Earth's curvature? Question mark. Oh my God! These people are insane. I just can't see it. Therefore, it's fake. Scientists claim that there's another world under Antarctica's ice. Now, they're not talking about like aliens or anything like that. They said the discovery was made not too long ago by the Wizard project, which showcases the fact that there was massive wetlands underneath the ice of Western Antarctica that could house life unseen anywhere else on this planet. What does it say? The Willans Ice Subglacial Access Research Drilling Project was officially commissioned by the National Science Foundation to formally scan underneath Antarctica's ice as well as beneath that. With the upcoming global warming, we might be able to see, or maybe be able to find out more and more about the history as we know it. So you've got right here, you can see, and it actually says it here. What does it say? This block of ice in Antarctica, which is visible, but not visible, but visible on Google Earth, is claimed by some as evidence of alien life. Well, I mean, it is kind of a weird photo there if you look at it, right? We can bring it way up here. How it's like tracked nice and straight down there, but it could be ice. They do have ice coming downhill that will track that way, just kind of slide because it is straight, right? But right up the bat, UFO. The discovery in itself was made around 2,700 feet below the ice, as they reported that they followed the Lake Willans to see where it led them, only to find out that there's a massive space 2,700 feet below the ice exist. Below the ice exists. So, it's a lot of questions here because we know that Antarctica had structures there. We've done videos about that. We've got the thesis that our good friend Sarah had done, and all kinds of this. What I was talking about, she had done soil samples and seen that there was industrialization on there in parts of Antarctica, and this goes back to like 95 to 100,000 years ago. Just really weird stuff, and so it doesn't surprise me if there was something built under the ice, or if there's something there and the ice just had became a sheet over it. Who knows? Yeah, Pat, ignorance is bliss. Valerian the Mac 3, what up? Yeah, exactly, Goathard. You said these articles are ridiculous. We know better. Of course, right? James Cragen said, Chris, the Apollo vid the other day, did you see the good old fish-shaped structure on the peak of the mountain on the right-hand side of the photo or the picture? It's clear to see even without a magnified defo, man. Yeah, I mean, you can see like weird things on somebody had mentioned something about the left, well, quote-unquote mountain on the left side, which I thought was weird. I got to go back and look at these, but I love it when you guys actually do that because they're like, did you see this? Did you even see that? And I was like, wow, I go back and I look myself because I'm not even sure, right? But what I do is I try to center on the actual mountains because I know they're not mountains, right? And of course, what's laying there is not just little ripples in the sand because you can't say that's their instruments if they look half buried. So let's suppose they are the astronauts' instruments. We'll go with that. I believe that's what they were. Okay, again, so you had to have modified this picture somehow to make it look tilted in the sand and that it's partially buried? I don't buy that. Because from a distance, how would you know whether it's alien or our own? You wouldn't know the difference. You wouldn't know if they're parts laying around from something much larger. And then after we broke that photo down, that's what I think that stuff is. And they're playing it off like it's, the astronauts' test equipment. When clearly it's not, right? So I don't believe that for a moment. Let's Get Unknown says once they put people up there, their people, all we're going to see is nice deep holes and empty spaces. They ain't going up to grow potatoes for the first day, and they're going to move stuff out of view. Oh yeah, you can almost guarantee it. Stoned Rabbit says people have become brainwashed and stupid. Well, the thing is, it's like, again, I would if somebody told me something like that, even if I didn't have even the slightest interest, I would listen to them. And maybe I'd go, that kind of is interesting. Because I know a lot of people start off like that, right? You hear something weird about Antarctica or the moon or Mars, and you go, well, you don't really believe it too much. But the more somebody talks about it, you say, okay, it's kind of interests me a little bit, piqued my interest. So what do? You do your own research on it. And when you do your own research, all of a sudden, you're going, wow, maybe there's some truth to this. And maybe it's all bogus. Of course, you got to see where that rabbit hole actually, sends you. But but just to sit there and close it out and laugh about it, like I said, very narrow-minded. I haven't seen him, Valerian the Mac. You said any more sun portals opening. I don't know. I haven't seen them lately. I mean, they come up every now and then. You know that. But I haven't seen anything lately. Pat Nolan says, I love the year 1966. So much stuff happened in that year. And my Ford Galaxy, named in honor of the space race, was made in that year too. Yeah, which is kind of weird, huh? It's pretty cool at the same time. Enrico, Linda Moulton Howe believes there's an alien base. I believe there's structures there, an alien base. Again, what's funny about it, I don't know if you guys heard or talk about these military people who said, no, I got firsthand telling me that there's this underground base and blah, 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 blah. They describe it. No pictures whatsoever. So I could tell a story all day long. Doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean that at all. But they want you to believe that. They're like, oh, no, you got to believe it. It's cute for entertainment purposes. And like I said, I don't shut out the idea. There's a good possibility there may be. Maybe they call it underground, but maybe after the dirt and ice and everything else settled on top, maybe it's now considered underground or under ice, right? How do we know? Mikado says, be right back. We'll be here. Corey, what's going on? I didn't even see you sneak in there. You're talking to Kyle. You said it just disappeared, had munchies. Pat, you said, I wish I could remote view. I would tell you all what I see. And I'm the same way. I would do the same. That would be pretty interesting. And I would love to actually see somebody who actually could do that and, be the real deal, right? Because, again, I could say the same thing. I could come up with, oh, yeah, I see it. I'm literally floating up above this alien base in Antarctica. I went into the ground in a cabin, and I'm like floating around. I can see these immense I mean, like I said, I can make up a story and a half. Doesn't mean it's true. It makes for good entertainment. But the problem is you can't vet anything these people say. Now, are they telling the truth? Are they lying? 50-50. That's the way I look at it. There's no way of knowing for sure. There's General Meow Putin. There he is. So we need alien intervention. Yeah, like them to come down and just like interfere with all the TV and radio and say, listen, stop warring with each other, you imbeciles. Please stop, grow up, or do you want to be stuck on this rock for the rest of your life? What do you want to do? Let's Get Unknown says, very narrow-minded. I'd love to see what the first people pick up on Mars, but unless it's people like us, which it won't be, makes me feel like we're going to have more history erased. Well, and sadly, I think you're right. Or you just won't know about your history. You just won't know anything about it, right? They'll just keep covering up and nothing there. The only way I could see any of this ever happening is that once we become so advanced, now, again, let's zoom, or let's go fast forward into the future. We're now on Mars. Well, we're now on Mars, and we're now on the moon. We're flying back and forth. It's just old hats for us now. We're going back and forth. Oh, we're going to go see family there, and everything's good. And same thing with the moon. And you can take trips there, and you can go to the moon, to Mars, take a trip there, and come back. And then they may say, oh, by the way, there was an alien, race here at one time, or people lived here long before we did. At that point, we're so sophisticated because now we can. It's like the norm to be able to fly back and forth to Mars and get on there. It's like getting on a plane and flying over the ocean. It's like doing the same thing now. You wouldn't think nothing of it. Oh, really? That's cute. Oh, there was an alien race. Oh, that's pretty cute. Right now, some people would probably lose it, and I don't mean anybody like us, but they'd probably say, oh, wow, that's kind of scary. Did they still live there? Or, were they evil? Were they mean? Were they, what kind of craziness people would come out with. But because we'd be sophisticated enough to be going back and forth to Mars, it would seem very minuscule at that point because we're going, oh, shit, we do that now. Who cares? So it was an ancient civilization in here. We could go back to the civilization we go on there. How many people would say, so what? There's a bunch of people that built stuff with stone. Who cares? You can bet there's people like that all over the world that believe that. To me, it's an amazing feat that these people built the pyramids, Pumapunku, places like that. And for people to blow it off, I think it's just ignorance at its finest. It's just, they just don't care, There's much more to it than that. Let me see what this thing just did to me here. And it did a little jump here. Yeah, it's one thing, somebody was just saying that about don't give into the fair. Don't buy into fair. I mean, what's really weird about it is there seems to be a lot of channels like that. But like I said, remember that big crap that was going on about 2012 and oh my God, we're all going to die and all this other crazy stuff. I'm going, wow. How easy people just flip it and just lose their shit. I'm going, listen, when people are asking me, hey, what do you think about the 2012 and, this, that, and the other? I said, what about it? It's another year coming. I know, but they're talking about the end of the world. No, where do you keep hearing this from? And I had one person, like I said, there's a woman. She was generally, actually said, I'm really serious. I'm really concerned about this. I said, listen, don't believe the hype. It's a bunch of crap. It means a time for enlightenment. It does not mean the end of the world. That's not, in fact, like I said, I think I've seen it was an interview with a couple guys that was from the United States, went down to Mexico, and it was asking the actual elders about 2012. And they literally laughed in their face and they said, oh, we're hearing that's at the end of the world. No, I'm surprised they didn't say, "Oh, you idiot." But so no, it's time for enlightenment. It's time for the next stage of your life. It's time, in other words, it's all positive and all enlightenment kind of thing. And people are like, "Oh my God, we're all gonna die." It's like, where does this come from? Why do people lose it like that? I just told her straight up, don't give into it. Listen, just trust me. It's nothing gonna happen. Let me see. Valerian the Mac, everyone is an alien except me. Well, I don't know. I think we're all alien to this world. We might have been Martians at one point. Let's Get Unknown says, that's it, spot on. I want to know now, and to have that confirmation from you and all the other channels like yours would be awesome. Time team on Mars. But the thing is, it's like, yeah, I mean, I would love to have like all of this just come to fruition, like just boom, just tell us the truth, tell us what's going on. And it's sad. It's like, I'd love to see it before, and I know a lot of you guys have said this, before I die, I'd like to see this. Yeah, before I'm compost, can you like tell me what's going on? It'd be great. Yeah, it's just basically what I was saying, Pat. I just went back up to the comments here and you said, again, I believe we, human sapien, are the aliens from the beginning. Jet Smoothie Ride, you said, our links no longer allowed in the comments. Posted a link to my JPEG, but my comment disappeared. What you need to do, if you're going to put a link to it, just put like if you got like .com or whatever, just put a space between there, and it should be able, and then we can just put it together and be able to do that. We should be able to. All right. There we go. What's happening? He said, what's up, folks? Valerian the Mag. Be right back. Got a thumbs up. Everybody thumbs it up, please. Boom. Nail that bad boy. Ricardo, did you hear what I said earlier about the Discord? I actually put a sub-channel in there, and it says Enhanced Photos. So I'm going to try to do it probably tomorrow, if I can, depending on if I got enough time. I'm going to try to put all of those. I'm going to put a link to the original, and then I'm going to put the enhanced photo from the last 3 or 4 videos so we can start adding these things. So it's going to be strictly, I'm going to be putting those on there where you guys can check them out even further. So I don't know if you were in here when I said that. Gene Borsia, he said, Chris, they will not tell us that we are the leftover species. Probably not. What's really crazy is that it's like they just want to suppress any history because they want to dictate, well, this is how your history went. This is how human beings evolved, and this is how this happened. It's like, oh, really? But then the more you learn about what's going on in the world, whether here or off-world, you just start to think, was everything I learned in school complete garbage? What's the deal here? And it's kind of looking that way, isn't it? Eric Allen said the 72 Monte Carlo gets unleashed tomorrow. Sweet. Sweet. Exactly. Let's get unknown. You said it's going too far, though, unless someone comes out from there and actually blows the whistle or an untouched photo gets missed. Yeah, I would love to see that. Like I said, I'd love to have them just, if these guys are listening, just sneak it out. Like, let's have, what is it? Anonymous. Please, beg these guys. Just do it. Send it to me. Don't have to be a return mail. I don't care. Just send it to me. I'd love to be able to see that. Yeah, Ricardo. Yeah, like I said, you said you missed the announcement because I know you. I think I'd said it prior to you coming in. So, but I did do that. So I'm going to try to do these on Saturday afternoon my time. So maybe evening, or you might not even see it until maybe tomorrow. Depending. I mean, the next day. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to try to do the last 3 or 4 videos. And like I said, I'll put the original, link for the original photo or Gigapan, whatever is what we used. And then, of course, I'll put the enhanced, and you guys can check it out. Your suggestion, by the way. Mimi Reactions, I'm taking off here. It's late. Good night, everyone, and sleep well until next Friday. Yeah, we're going to be doing the same thing, folks. Goat Hawk, your question was, Chris, are you still running the Lunar Anomaly Show? I haven't put anything on there, truthfully, and you guys have seen this. Anybody who's been on there, I've been putting them on here only because it gets more views. Now, sadly, I don't know how much better it is because, like I said, I don't know what's going on. You know, like I said, you look at it, you go, okay, you're just shy of 67,000 subscribers and you only get 4,000 to 5,000 views. I mean, what's the deal here? You know what I mean? And I find that really depressing, to be honest with you, because it's like, okay, because I wouldn't sub to a channel if I'm never going to watch it. So it makes you wonder, what's the deal? Are they suppressing the views? And subscribers should have went up by now. It's just, it's getting really frustrating. I'll be honest with you guys. I thought about just jetting off this YouTube and just going to another platform where the views will get out and won't be stifled, It is. It's really frustrating because the idea of the channel was to try to get this out as much as possible. So a lot more of the people, they're like word of mouth and everything else, and people start to see more and more of it, and more people would be in the know, basically. And it seems like we're just being stalled, and it sucks. It really is. It's discouraging because you spend X amount of time behind the computer, and basically nobody's watching. I mean, other than you folks, of course, but nobody else is watching. And so what's the point? Why am I doing this? I'll be honest with you. I actually said that. I was thinking that last week, and I'm going, why am I still doing this? Because there's no point. I'm going to spend all this time, and again, I think it's between 66.9 and just about 67,000. It's like, where's the rest of the people who are supposed to be watching this? I mean, they just click on it, just haphazardly, whatever, just click on it, and maybe I'll watch it once in every 10 years. I mean, what's the point? But I don't know. Like I said, it may be just simple suppression. You know how that goes with YouTube and stuff like that. And it's frustrating because here you are trying to get the stuff out to as many people as you can, and that's not the case. You're literally, like I said, you're being like stifled, and it sucks. Alfie Joe Bobby said, does PayPal me support not showing the chat? Sent one, never saw it. I think once you just get to the link, it just automatically, whatever you do and just whatever you put in, it should show it. I don't think it actually shows an actual chat unless it's a super chat that you're doing it. It'll show it then. But any support through the PayPal, the link is at the top. I do appreciate you guys. I really do. Like I said, my hopes was actually to just do this 24/7, to be truthful with you, because I've got so much I could get out on this channel, but you go, okay, but you're going to be able to basically make a living off of it. Well, how do you do that if you're not getting views? So, support from you guys is great, so it helps, but it's not the same. You just can't just walk away from your 9 to 5 and hope this will work unless, of course, you had, let's say, out of the 67,000, you had 10 to 12,000 views. Because you never get all the views anyway. You know that. Look at some of these larger channels. They'll have 1.5, million views, or of subs rather, and you get maybe 325,000 views on the channel or on that particular video. So you don't expect it to get everybody watching it. But on the other side of the token, you go, there should be more than that though. It's kind of ridiculous. So it does actually. It frustrates you. Like I said, if I have to, I'll just move it to another, another format. Eric Gowdy said Rumble. I heard it sucks though. I don't know. We need something that's like, Because obviously you're going to have to make, you want to make revenue, but you want to get more importantly, you want to get this out on a format that you could do that. Now, somebody said I can use like a TikTok. You make a quick video about it, of course, telling people about that and what the new video is coming out. And of course, it'll channel some of the people down. But it's just, like I said, it's just absolutely frustrating. This thing just jumped on me, but I just seen somebody say, I despise, what do you call it, YouTube. Exactly, Stone Rabbit, you said you're being suppressed by YouTube and Google. Yeah. Oh, there you are, Pat. You said that. I despise YouTube and Facebook. Yeah, unfortunately, it's like you're so, they go, oh, you got freedom of free speech. No, you don't. Where? Because if you try to speak the truth, you get shut down. I remember, what's his name? He's an Indian doctor. Oh, what was his name? I don't remember off the top of my head now, but I'll watch his videos every now and then because I am sub to him. And he literally is jumping off Facebook because he says, listen, he will tell you, he was talking about when this COVID and everything was going on, right? And he's talking about this, and he says, oh, you're not meeting, the guidelines of of YouTube and blah, 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 blah. He's literally talking the truth, and he's being basically shut down. His channels, they're literally taking his videos off. Oh, you're spreading misinformation. He's a doctor, for crying out loud. So, and he's saying this is what's going on in the UK, or this is what's going on in this country, and this is how they're dealing with the COVID, and this, that, and the other, and they're just taking his videos down. He says, no, I'm out. So he's got a couple of the sites, and he just uses, and he just said, to hell with it. And, if that's going to be the case, it's like I was telling my wife, I said, I'll just shut the damn channel now. I could care less. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about the way they treat the YouTubers. This is what's really funny. They'll make money off you, but they'll stifle you. Isn't that like shooting yourself in the foot? Makes sense to me. It's like saying, I'll be more than happy for you to drive my taxi cab. I'll pay you to do it, but by the way, I'm not giving you any gas, and by the way, you can't get gas for it. What? What's the point? So make money off me, but on the other side of the token, you're like, if you hold back my channel, doesn't that hurt you too? I don't know. You just can't figure it out. Yeah, Pat, you were saying the same thing. Go to Rumble. Let's get in. It says, no, do not leave, Chris. It's store, but please don't go anywhere. The only thing I can think of too is because it is getting a little warmer, people tend to view less. Because wintertime, you're stuck in the house, right? But still, it's never been quite like this. It's completely crap. James Gregan, thank you very much for your support, sir. I do appreciate you. As always, you're always supporting the channel, right? You said 2 discs on the Mars vid, not natural formation. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I think that was probably the best part of that Giga panel, at least a part of it I showed, right? Where it literally has these disc-shaped things sticking right out of that small hill. Really, really crazy stuff. And it makes you wonder, okay, clearly that's not natural. So what could that be? That's really cool. And again, thank you, sir, for your support. Pat Owen, you said they've shadow banned Bruce, he's all too. Yeah, I mean, it's like, regardless of the material, right? It's supposed to be where you can make videos and, again, free speech. But for some reason, they just like to stifle channels like that, and my own and other people's, and there's no reason for it. There really is none. Again, if you were talking about, they'll have really severe guidelines, right? Has anything to do with sexuality or explicit stuff, this, that, and the other, or people being beaten, or I get that. That makes perfect sense to me. You can't be talking about, some kind of weird rape thing or some kind of explicit garbage. I get that. But this? What the, really? And that's what makes it more frustrating and discouraging, because you're just like, okay, I don't care to do these because this is what I like to do. It's kind of a passion. It's a good way to spend, extra time. But you go, but what's the point if it's not getting out? It just doesn't make sense. Eric Gowrie said, Chris, your numbers are stepped on like everyone else's. Well, I don't know, but I've seen other people's channels still growing. Not exponentially, but they're still growing. So I'm going, what gives here, It's just crazy. Claudia with a chance of UFOs, he said, I've shared this channel to many people and platforms over the years. Now, you, like other people, have done the same, and I do appreciate you. I really do. And I even tell people that when they say, oh, yeah, I spread the word as much as I can. And I do, right from the heart. I really do appreciate that. But it's like, as much as you do that, which is awesome, are they being counted? That's the other thing. It's like, that's why, again, and I know, what's his name, Cliff High, who suggested a lot of you folks to come to my channel. He had to jump off of this. He said, enough is enough. I'm being railroaded. I'm being, it's not getting out. They were messing with his videos as well. He said, it's time to go, and it sucks. No Toes No says, I've got 17 subs, so don't feel bad. Yeah, but the thing is, when you start off slow, it seems like, oh my God, it's kind of discouraging there because you're trying to build his channel, especially if you're trying to get a lot of information out. So it takes time to grow it. But what happens if you start getting bigger and you start to see your subs growing? Let's say a minimum of 50 to 100 a day. You're like, wow, this is awesome. Especially if somebody gives you a shout out, right? It actually helps your channel big time, which Cliff High has done, and I thanked him for it. And that's why I try to give, props to him as well, and try to tell people where to find his channel as well, because he's no longer on, although his channel's still there, but he's not on, he doesn't do any more videos on YouTube. He does it, and I forget where his platform is now. But either way, he's got links to his on his channel. But he said, I'm out. I've had it. Guy's absolutely brilliant too, and they just, why? When you see the videos he does, you just go, why are you messing with this guy's channel? It doesn't make any sense. Glenn Judge says, hi, Chris, here for now. Alfie Joe Bob says, okay, got it, Chris. Let me see. This thing kind of judging me. Go to Ice said, Chris, I hear you. It's not a secret that the ones dealing with these subjects get suppressed by YouTube. It's a bummer. Yeah, it kind of sucks. Oh, Ricardo was just answering too. He said, unfortunately, the message left on PayPal donation does not show. Well, this is the reason why some people, believe it or not, and I've said this, and I don't see any problem with it. Some people go, yeah, I'd rather not do it in like the super chat. Would it be okay if I could do it some other way? And that's why now I do put the link on the top so people can say, this way, I don't know, maybe some people just feel weird about their name being shown and they just don't want to do it. Now, most people don't care. They just say, I don't care. I'm supporting the channel. I think it's awesome, and I'm very thankful that you guys do that one way or the other. So, and I usually try to give shout-outs, even if they don't want their last name said. I'll try to do a shout-out on, if they do a PayPal thing, I'll just say their first name and say I appreciate, the support. So, like I'll do it on the next live feed or whatever and give them some props and obviously thank them. Inhabit Mars is sorry if I missed anyone in the chat, but I just got home and I am running back and forth to the kitchen cooking. I hope everyone is doing well. And we are. Hope you're doing well as well over there. We're actually just going to be wrapping it up pretty soon. It's about time. Thank you, James. I do appreciate you, brother. Always a continuing supporter of the channel. So, Chris, if I may say on behalf of everyone here tonight, we would like to say your great work and research and personal time is doing it is fantastic. Well, I appreciate it, James. Like I said, there's nothing, that I like more is that people get to see what we're actually trying to convey. So, it's like I said, the more the better, because that's the idea, to try to get people aware. Now, of course, you can't go, and there's like 10 million people see it all at once. It's not going to happen. And you got to work this up. It's, but we've been doing it now because it's been stalled for the last at least 2 years, I'd say. Ask anybody out there. Ask Joe from Art Alien TV. Ask anybody. It's like basically being stifled. And it's like, that's why a lot of people give up on it. They go, there's no point. What's the point in doing it? Nobody's watching it, or at least majority are not. So, but, I don't really care because you guys yourselves is what keeps me doing these. It's, it's like I I've got people watching it, so clearly I'm going to keep doing it. So even if I decided to jump off this, I'll be on another platform, and of course I'll tell you guys and everything else. So, you know, if I get to the point, I just finally say, you know, I had enough, and I'll just jump off this thing, and basically they can kiss my ass. That's the way I look at it. Oh, Jerry, yeah, I appreciate your support, man. Yeah, you're right. You said, you know, don't let them drag you down. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's not even that. It's not even because it's not like I'm like really bummed out. It's just the idea. It's more frustration than anything because you're like, you'd love to get your work out as much as you can. And like I said, the people who are making fabricated stories about UFOs, like Elizondo is just like leading everybody on and stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying he's totally bogus, but on the other side of the token, he's doing videos and, you know, interviews and making money hand over fist, and then you're trying to do the honest thing, and that's it. Stifle, putting the thumb down on you. That's what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying? It's just, it's crazy. But again, Terry, I appreciate you. Really, thank you. I actually, believe it or not, Ricardo, I do actually have a Patreon. I had it since 2017. I never made it live. I was like, I don't know if I was going about it the right way because it was all new to me and everything else. So I'll have to check it out. Yeah, because I remember reading that you said you can release videos to patrons ahead of the general public on you. Yeah, which is true, right? Let's get on. Keep pushing forward, just don't vanish. Well, like I said, even if I got to the point where I just had enough, I would tell you guys, I wouldn't just leave you hanging, of course. Because like I said, I think it's complete crap when, you know, when you first start off, you're thinking, wow, this is great format or you know, place to be to share this stuff with people, interact with people, and it's excuse me, and it's like spinning wheels. It's like you're going nowhere. Anybody who in here that's doing these videos knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, good God. I mean, when you start off, you say to yourself, well, it's slow going, and that makes sense. You know what I mean? But this has been since 2012 I've been doing these. Some people get on there and all of a sudden they get millions of, it's like, how the hell's that happen? You know what I got to do? And I was telling this to my wife. I was laughing. In fact, I was laughing with a couple of the guys. I've seen this, no word of a lie, suggested video. It makes you wish you were a girl. This girl was basically, all she was doing is trying on shirts. That's all she was doing. What do you guys think? Does this look okay? Showing everything that's nice and tight everywhere. And then she'd go, hold on, let me change the shirt. And of course, all you see is her back, but she takes a shirt off, puts another one on. It's like that video, 175,000 views. 175,000 views. And then she'll open up this little drawer thing that she has. You guys let me know what you want me to wear next. I'm going, oh my God, are you serious right now? But like they say, there's an ass for every pair of pants. So, you know, people will watch that regardless if it's just mindless crap. You know what I mean? You know, I said that to a buddy of mine. He says, so what does that mean? You don't like women? I said, love women. That's got nothing to do with it. The point is, they're just using their assets to just make money. I mean, they're just doing nothing. They're just sitting there. There could be a woman on there going like this with a tight shirt on and make money. That's all she could do. And it's actually frustrating when you're trying to put out real cool stuff for people to actually see, and you're the one that gets stifled. It doesn't make sense. It's just crazy how it works. Oh, James, yeah. Chris, I nearly forgot a cloth for the CGI boys. Can't forget them guys. They need it. They need it real bad. I got to do mine every now and then. But yeah, appreciate you, James. I really do. What? I'm trying to spell check. Oh. Your work and also John's work is just world news. Well, I mean, you know, I'd love to be able to. The only time I've ever gotten on like a documentary was when I was on Russian TV, when I had done that years ago. And it's basically, like I said, it's kind of like a Ancient Aliens, Russian style kind of thing. Really cool experience. Like I said, the guy that did the video and he did and came in, basically they'd make questions. They'd have a questionnaire. And he was subcontracted through them to do this. In fact, I'm friends with the actual director. She was on there. She's, again, Russian. And a really nice person. He come from, I think he's from Ohio. He came here. to my house. I laid out the photos that I had, showed them when we did an interview. It's pretty cool. So, but that's the only one I've ever done. It's like, well, I'd like to be able to do more, but get the information out, like coast to coast radio or these things like this. Because here's the thing: how many people have ever gone on live and actually showed this? No one has ever said, listen, has anybody actually tore apart these photos to see what's really in them? Because that would like blow the lid off everything. Think about it. If, let's say there's somebody that's like in, top brass somewhere, or these people are like majorly into like photography and have a lot of influence on, top-notch people. They can say, man, this guy, I don't know if he's a fruitcake or not, but let's check these photos out and just see what's going on. Boom. Help blow the lid off of it, right? And that's what the channel's all about. But again, as like I said, it's just kind of, you're spinning the wheels thing, and it's, some channels should not be making this kind of money. Like I said, if I was built like a brick shit house, that'd be different. But no. Ricardo, there you saying that, James. There you go. Lens cleaned. I appreciate it, Ricardo. That's pretty cool. That's funny too. That is good. Let's get on. It says mindless crap. Again, spot on. We appreciate you. Well, no, and I know you guys do. I don't have any, problems with that. And that's what I find. That's what I think is cool, because it's people like you that keep me coming back. And it's like, but you know what I'm saying though. It's like it's extremely frustrating. Now, some channels will say that it's happening to them too, but they don't have no way to prove it. In other words, they'll show something, whether it's something on the moon or something else, and they don't leave a link, they don't leave anything else. So people are going, maybe it's true, maybe it's not. So I try to be as, give all the information I can, whether it be an actual photo you can go to, whatever, be a pan, whatever, so that you guys get all the information you can possibly get, so you can make your own decisions. A lot of channels get away with just crap, complete crap. So in a way, I don't feel bad for them not getting views, because they are not totally being honest with their subs, right? Renee said, I'm so disappointed that I cannot drop my respect in a donation to your channel on that chat, but there is also PayPal. I'm happy. Well, yeah, true. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I just, people have asked me, like I said in the past, they're like, I had one, like I said, 3 people. They're like, I don't know, I just feel kind of weird about doing it and open. And I don't have a problem with that. Some people like that. That doesn't mean they're bad people. I totally respect that, and that's why I said I'll just put the link on there from now on, so you guys understand. And if they want to buy a cup of coffee for me, I'm happy. I'm a happy camper. Pat Owens, you said, Chris, you could do an OnlyFans for more views. Haha. Well, I mean, yeah, there's so many options you can do, right? Which is cool. But then people are like, oh, no, he's trying to make more money. It's like, yeah, you hate to do that because I want to show it to everybody. But I get what you mean, because like you said, you can put like OnlyFans, and if because people say, well, man, maybe you should do like a little tear type thing on one of these, and just say, listen, if you do like $5, whatever you can give, then it's automatically open for you to watch this video. And then the people that, don't pay, then they don't get to see that video. But it seems kind of crappy to me to be able to do that. It's okay to have like Patreon, and people say, no, I'll support the channel every month. Then you're going to see the content regardless. But I guess there's so many ways you can do it, right? James Gregg said, Chris, a lot of the people in the world are going sheep dumb, man. They are programmed by the TV and with a huge amount of crap that the TV is channeling to the world. Think about it, program channel. Yeah, well, that's true. Absolutely true. You guys are do. Pat Owen, you said, I'm glad that you're free. And that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. I just think it's okay to like monetize some videos, but it's still open for everybody, right? Now, if they want to give like in a super chat, or they want to, because the link is always there in my my banner right there on my YouTube channel. It's right there in the lower right corner on the banner. It says Patreon. They want to support the channel, great. And, you know, any support, like I said, is great. So, you know, I appreciate it no matter what. Stone Rabbit says, I don't watch TV. I don't blame you. I try not to watch that trash either. It's just brain rot. Let me see. Goat Hard says, my fellow Martians, time to go. Please, Chris, please don't give up. So long, folks. It was a pleasure to be with you tonight. Until next time. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to jump off this bad whamma jamma too. Actually, it's been, what, 4.5 hours? Damn. I think that's what it was, right? Somewhere on there. Yeah, somewhere on there. Actually, I think there's a link here. I don't think anybody's ever used this. Right there it says, right here in the live feed, it says Mars Anomalies and Beyond. It says support the stream. And it goes through Streamlabs, and of course it's linked to my account too. I don't know if anybody's ever tried that, but it's right there. And it does it automatically because that's who I stream with and make videos or stuff like that, record and stream and everything else through Streamlabs. So I don't know if anybody's ever tried that, but yeah. So, yeah, pretty cool. Oh, I see what you're saying, Sean. You said, Sean Turner says, he threw the old fiver at me. I appreciate you, man. I really do. He said, keep it for all to see. Have more chats. Well, yeah, I mean, I've seen people doing like 1 million chats, and it just seems like they're just hitting everybody up for money. But on the other side of the token, I like the idea of the chat. So, you know, it's still, like I said, the support, regardless, it could be just verbal. It's awesome. So, yeah, I mean, I don't mind doing these things, but like I said, now it's kind of like, it's like the way the job's going. It's kind of like, you know, it's more hours now, and I'm going, I hope I can still get these things in. So I'm going to do them. You know what I mean? I'm going to, even if it's the smaller ones and a lot of gigapans, which I like doing anyway, and a lot of you folks like it, and then we'll just do the enhancements as well. Just have a combination of everything. Yeah, especially my voice. Well, no toes, you said Peter Griffin sounds like Chris, or vice versa. But it's kind of like the, my voice gets hoarse after a while too, which doesn't help. Alfie Joe Bob's taking off. All right, Alfie, appreciate you being here, and thanks for being part of the community as always. And you have yourself a good weekend there, right? Yep, 4.5 hours, Pat. Dang. Brian Norton. Hiya. Been a while since I've been here. Glad I can make it now just to say goodbye. LOL. Yeah, I kind of wish you would have squeaked in a little bit earlier. But, you know, it happens. It's, your life. You got to do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have a problem with that. I'm glad you popped in there anyway. It's good to see you in there. But, yeah, folks, I'm going to jump off this bad boy. And like I said, it's always a pleasure having you guys. And it's just cool to be able to hang out with you guys. Like I said, we're going to hang here. Don't worry about it. But if it gets to the point where it's like, it's getting worse, then it's just time to jump. You know what I mean? It's just either find another format, and then, of course, everybody can just follow, and they don't have to make a dime off me. How's that? Because, like I said, I just think it can be unfair if they're making money somehow off these other channels, not just mine. A lot of people are doing this. And it's like, we'll make the money off you, but we're going to suppress you at the same time. It's like, again, it just seems like they're just shooting themselves in the foot as well. So I don't know why they would do that. But regardless, like I said, I confronted them one time when my thumbs up were dropping. Remember that day? And I asked him, I said, I was pissed. I went on there. I was like, boom, hit him up. Oh, well, we don't know. Well, your channel's not being, shut down, or it's not being, like, basically regulated or anything of that sort. I said, well, it sure feels like it, because it shouldn't be doing that, and I don't know what's going on. Well, you're not the first person to say that their thumbs up would drop. Why would it do that anyway? It just doesn't make sense. But anyway, enough about that garbage. But anyway, everybody have a great weekend. I know some of you folks already started your weekend, so I appreciate that you are here, because it is a morning, right? So for some of you folks. So it's great that you were able to spend the morning or breakfast with us. So I appreciate that. Any of you guys that any support, like I said, thank you very much. I do, I do appreciate it from my heart, and I do appreciate you guys being here. Like I said, you guys is what keeps the channel going. So I appreciate it, and I mean that from the heart. And much love to you all, you guys. And but like I said, we're going to try to do a little bit more with the Discord. I said I was going to try to get on there live, and like I said, it's a kind of weird trying to juggle act kind of thing. So I'm trying to, I don't want to promise anything, but I want to do it. But like I said, I want to promise it because then people go, oh, what the hell? He promised he'd do this and he promised he'd do that and he's not doing it. And I don't want to do that. If I said, yeah, absolutely, I'm going to do that, and then all of a sudden I don't come through, then you go, oh, you know. So I'm trying to do the best I can to try to juggle it out. And we will do that, I promise. It just got to take a little bit of time. Ricardo, again, thank you very much, sir, for your support. I do appreciate you, man. He said, brilliant set of Gigapan reviews this week, Chris. Really enjoy the format and look over them. Love the Hangout and everyone here. Well, like I said, it's like I said, it's you people that's want to make up the channel. It's as simple as that, right? There is no way around it. Some people can say, well, my channel's the baddest, so, you know, that's why these people follow me. You may want to look at that differently. You know, it's the people that are here on your channel that make you who you are. You know, they're watching your content, so you want to appreciate them a little bit more. But anyway, I appreciate everybody. You guys know that. Much love to everybody. I love you guys all. And, you know, we're going to do this, like I said, I'm going to try to get that on tomorrow afternoon if I can. I don't know if the wife's got anything we got to do tomorrow, but you know, we'll just see what happens. But I'm going to try to get that on, the content on there as far as the enhanced photos. I'm going to try to make a folder so I can just take them all and just take them, put them up there, you know, just upload them and just put the original link. Probably put like the title of the video and the link to the original photo and then of course the enhanced. This way it gives you guys more information to play with. And you know, we can go from there, you know. Oh, again, Sean, thank you very much, sir. I do appreciate you. Thank you, Chris. We love your channel. Don't stop. Oh no, I mean, like I said, it's not me stopping. It's stopping with YouTube. Although I know a lot of people like it here because they go, you know, they get this watched their other videos and stuff like that. I get that. But it's just like, you know, you go, not you guys, but actually YouTube, if they can't appreciate who you are and that they're making money off you. Yeah. I can tell my throat gets dry. And I'm out of drink. Oh, I got a little sip out of that. But, you know, it's just frustrating that way. But as far as making the videos, no, I love doing them. And like I said, I love you guys too. So I'm not discouraged at any of that part. I love doing the videos. I love you guys. It's great. It's just like, you know, do YouTube, and I can understand why now a lot of people are jumping off of it and going to a different format because, or a platform rather, because they're being recognized more. It just makes sense. So maybe it's just I got to find more avenues to go through, and maybe that'll help. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, guys, I want to let you go before my voice completely cracks, and I won't be able to talk at all because I got a dry throat, and we don't want to do that. So I'll let you folks go. Thank you all for your support. Much love to all you guys. Have a great weekend. Be safe. And like I said, I'm going to let you guys know about Wednesday. And we'll try to do it for 4 o'clock again, provided I don't have anything I got to do. And I'll let you guys know in the community. Just remember to look at the community chat probably Monday or Tuesday. Probably Tuesday. Because I'll know more definitely then. So just look for the community in the community tab. See if I say anything. And we'll go from there. But anyway, like I said, much love to all you guys. And women, of course. We don't want to disrespect you. Have a great evening, a good weekend, and we'll see you soon. Peace.